Will the average construction cost per square foot in your area? A dollar amount you can find by doing an online search for construction cost per square foot along with your zip code.
And if you're looking to tie the knot this Valentine's Day, you can do so in southeastern Connecticut. Old Mystic Village on Coogan Boulevard in town is the place to do it on Friday. For the last 24 years, Justice of the Peace Marie Tyler Wiley has married couples for free on Valentine's Day, and the tradition continues this year.
It's first come, first served. Nobody gets married before 10 a.m. That's when I open the doors, and then I will stay for anybody and everybody, meaning, yes, I usually end at 2, but if people keep coming, then I'll just keep marrying people.
She says the idea dawned on her years ago when she and her husband eloped. Wiley says it's her way of giving back and helping out those who don't want a huge, expensive wedding. Wiley says marriage licenses need to be obtained at Stonington Town Hall beforehand. WTIC News Time coming up on 3:05. As far as traffic is concerned, we're in pretty good shape to start things off this Wednesday drive. No problems on 84, 91, Route 2, 5 and 15 look good in the Hartford area. We still have some leftover road work in Manchester, but that should be coming to an end at any moment now. It's eastbound on 291 between exit 4 and the end of the roadway there, eastbound. They've been working in the shoulder. Connecticut Turnpike 95 northbound looks pretty good from Stamford up through Bridgeport. We have no problems on the Wilbercross and Merritt Parkways, and Route 8 is traveling well in Greater Waterbury. Let's check in with Jason Caterina. He has the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
The clouds will yield us some sun, the high of 36. Tonight, a little accumulation of snow becoming mixed with and changing to sleet and freezing rain with the low down to 30 degrees. Mostly cloudy, milder Thursday, though. The steady rain will become more intermittent with the high up to 46, so still a damp, raw chill to the air. Then for our Friday, plenty of sunshine, windy and colder, the high 31. Going to feel like it's well down in the 20s.
How we doing, boss man?
Best with that strong cold west-northwest wind at 12 to 25 miles an hour. Now Saturday, cloudy, we'll get periods of snow in the afternoon, the high 29. Saturday night, periods of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Some of that snow early, though, the high of 26. Sunday, just periods of rain. Another damp, raw, chilly feeling day with the high only 38. Windy and colder Monday, the high 26. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
36 and cloudy right now in Hartford. Dow down 202 points. NASDAQ's up 27. S&P is down 12 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. It's 3:06. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Welcome to the new era.
Check 1, 2.
Hello. To Farmington. We're thrilled to announce that our
What's going on, man? Happy hump day.
we've truly
Yeah,
taken it to the next level for our residents. Discover our stunning new spaces and indulge in 5-star amenities that redefine comfort and care. This is not the same Amberwoods you knew. Call us today at 860-677-1671 or visit amberwoodsof.com to schedule a tour and witness the remarkable changes at Amberwoods. We can't wait to welcome you.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with USPS Ground Advantage Service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
Ben, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health.
1 minute.
About how treating low testosterone can improve your sleep, your workouts, your energy levels, and more. But today I want to talk about your sex drive, because low testosterone can have a significant impact on your desire for intimacy. It can even be a factor in erectile dysfunction. And if you're in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, a low sex drive could really be a problem. The good news is that if you're like most guys, treating your low T could really change the way you feel about sex, giving you back that flame and desire that is so important when you love someone. So if you're feeling sluggish and tired, if you're not sleeping well, if your workouts aren't that great, and most of all, if your sex drive is more like a putt, make an appointment at Northeast Men's Health and have your testosterone levels checked. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Reese is also listening.
Yo, let's keep it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And welcome to all you scallywags and nutmakers across the fruited plain. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. We got plenty of stuff to get into today. We're going to talk about Caroline Leavitt. We're going to talk about the federal judge that has actually told Donald Trump that he has permission to go over the books. Plus, we've got whatever Democrats were doing outside in Washington with the sing-songing nonsense. We'll get into all of that. And I've got audio and video to boot. By the way, if you want to watch the show, go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Of course, we have the stupidest thing that I read today that involves transgenders in the news. Apparently, a lawsuit is coming out. We'll talk about that. But I got to start with this because I don't want anybody on the left, especially the black left, to think I forgot about them. I have not forgotten about the black left. And it is about time that they get called out for who they are. Because for some odd reason, the black left has not told Shifty Al Sharpton to take a seat. They haven't. And what is about to happen to New York Mayor Eric Adams is exactly the problem that we have with the black left in this country. The black left in this country wants you, needs you to stay a slave. They need you to stay on that plantation. They will attack you. They will demean you. They will say things to you that will give you this suggestion that if you do not abide by their rules, that if you do not stay on the black plantation, they will destroy you. And Al Sharpton is in the New York Daily News saying just that to Mayor Eric Adams.
Pick a bale of day. Oh, Lordy. Pick a bale of cotton. Oh, Lordy. Pick a bale of day.
I don't know why we leaving Malcolm's house. He been good to us. He feed us on Saturday, clothed us on Sunday, and then beat us on Monday. Or was it Tuesday? I don't know.
Jasper, don't you want freedom? You're going to promise land. The promised land.
Promised land. Leaving?
No, Jasper.
Baltimore?
No, Jasper, the promised land.
Oh, the promised land. Minnesota?
Pick a bale of cotton. Oh, Lordy. Pick a bale of day. Oh, Lordy. Pick a bale of cotton. Pick a bale of day.
Don't you want your freedom? Here's the whole story. You see, Eric Adams has got a federal indictment against him. And there's some rumblings that the Justice Department may very well drop. They'll drop that investigation into Eric Adams. You all know it. We talked about it right here. So Al Sharpton has convened with a bunch of African-American leaders. Let me read a couple of pieces from the article in the Daily News. Headline, Sharpton gathering New York black leaders amid fear Trump's dismissal terms hold Mayor Adams hostage. Now, mind you, when Mayor Adams was served with this indictment, nobody from the black community, Letitia James, Al Sharpton, Calvin Meeks, Hakeem Jeffries, all of them who supported Eric Adams, none of them came to his rescue. None of them held press conferences and said, what they are doing to this black man is wrong. No, they never did. They sat quietly. You want to know why? Because Massa told them to. Old Massa Joe said, now, boy, you sit down. We're going to take care of one of them. We're going to put him out to pasture. We're going to give him 9 lashes. Don't you say nothing, boy. And all of them stood in line and said nothing. And then Donald Trump comes up and says, yeah, we think this was politically motivated. I think we're gonna see about whether or not we can sort of dismiss these charges. I think Eric Adams was kind of treated because he spoke up against the illegal immigration in his city. This was made, maybe to punish him. Let's have a look at it. Well, Al Sharpton said, oh, well, wait now. Hold on now. If Donald Trump dismisses them charges, that means that Eric Adams is going to be in Donald Trump's debt. We must convene. All of you brothers and sisters, let's get together and have a conversation. And what did they have that conversation about, folks? That conversation, according to Al Sharpton, was, and let me give you a list of the people he called: Hakeem Jeffries, Representative Gregory Meeks, Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins, Assembly Speaker Carl Hersty, Attorney General Letitia James, along with clergy leaders across the city. And they're going to weigh their options concerning the mayor, including the possibility on calling him to resign. Who do you think? Yeah, I was thinking that too, Lori. They ain't called Cory Booker. But why do you think they're going to call to resign? Who do you think all of those so-called black leaders are going to stand behind? I'll tell you who. Massa, the white man, Andrew Cuomo. Oh, yeah, he's leading the polls. 33% of New Yorkers say they would love to have him as the mayor of New York. So they're going to make the black man step down because, he may be indebted to the evil Donald Trump. And they're going to cast him aside and they're going to bring themselves a new Massa. I love these Negroes. They are the best. They prove to me every day exactly who they are.
Pick a bale of day, oh Lordy, pick a bale of cotton, oh Lordy, pick a bale of day, oh Lordy, pick a bale of cotton, oh Lordy, pick a bale of day.
They know who they are. They know who they are. Horrible people. Despicable people. They're going to run that man down. Why? Because he's trying to do what's right for a city. And that's realized, yeah, we were a sanctuary city, but you know what? This is absolutely unsustainable. You know what? Maybe the Republicans are right. Maybe this is harmful to our constituents. Maybe we shouldn't have illegals and Tren de Aragua coming through the city fighting cops and then putting up the middle finger once they're immediately arraigned by Alvin Bragg, who's apparently just, my police officers are arresting him, putting him in the clink, and then Alvin Bragg's letting them free so they can run havoc because, again, there's nobody around to hold them accountable. And Eric Adams is seeing that under his watch, all of this mayhem that's going on, violence in the subway, people who are leaving the city in droves. He is managing dismay, carnage. I mean, it's turning into Snake Plissken's New York. And what does Al Sharpton decide to do? A city that he lives in. He says, we can't have Donald Trump taking the charges. Again, charges that none of them ever stepped up and held a vigil, a fundraiser, or support for Eric Adams while he was under indictment. Never once did they step up and say a thing. And as soon as Trump steps in, now it's a crisis. Let me read a pull quote from this article, which is my favorite. Try this on for size. Al Sharpton said this. As much as I feel I am a friend and supporter of Eric Adams, I don't believe, oh yeah, that's right, I got to set this up. Eric Adams said that the indictment against him was politically motivated by the former DA, who was a black man. But he didn't say anything about him being a black man. He just said that what he was doing was politically motivated. Al Sharpton responded by saying, as much as I am a friend and supporter of Eric Adams, I do not believe in disparaging another black man who rose up in the ranks in this case. Al, Shifty, come on, bro. Eric Adams won an election fair and square, rose through the ranks of the police department, became the mayor of the city. You guys sat there and did nothing while he was being taken down by Massa. That's Joe. You know, Brandon. Y'all said nothing. Not one of you came to his aid. And now you're talking about, I ain't going to disparage no other brother who rose to prominence. All of these people are frauds. All of them. Despicable frauds. All that Black Power movement stuff is nonsense. It's got a dollar sign attached to it. When I see these people talk that mess, this is the reason why. Look, I'll tell you this. The reason why the NAACP, the reason why Black Lives Matter, no matter what the so-called Negro group is, this is the reason why they won't ever mess with me. This is the reason why they'll never, ever talk to me. This is the reason why right now I put the media on notice. Don't ever give these people another license to be on your networks or in your newspapers because they're all clowns, jokes, and frauds. You notice you ain't seen the NAACP and the Black Lives Matter in the news media, right? You notice that? They've been conspicuously missing. Nowhere to be found. No news coverage, whatever. Whatsoever. Why? It's because yours truly called every news media across the nutmeg state and said, what's the deal? Why are these guys allowed to just get any page they want or any coverage they want no matter what they say? Why? I want to know. Somebody give me an answer. Now, when these people start doing something that actually matters, when they start actually standing up for the hungry, uneducated, and poor kids of the community, they can get all the ink and all the press they want. But if they don't solve this problem, you want to hear a problem? Listen to this. This is exactly why I'll never give Al Sharpton or any one of these bozos any real credibility. Try this one. Let me see if I can find this. There it is. Look at this young man. This young man was videotaped. I couldn't wait. When I saw this, I was like, holy hell.
I ain't got no goals. I was born to stay in the hood.
Are you going to stay in the hood for the rest of your life?
I might.
How you going to make money?
The government going to take care of me. All I got to do is have 8 kids and I'm Gucci. Do you know how much food stamps I could get with 8 kids? The hood is the land of opportunity. I can get a chopped cheese, Chinese food, and Don Julio on the same block.
That's what Al Sharpton is protecting. That's what Black Lives Matter is protecting. That's what the NAACP and the Urban League, that's what they're protecting. Didn't hear it? Listen again.
I ain't got no goals. I was born to stay in the hood.
I ain't got no goals. I was born to stay in the hood.
I ain't got no goals. I was born to stay in the hood.
Are you going to stay in the hood for the rest of your life?
I might.
How you going to make money?
The government going to take care of me. All I got to do is have 8 kids and I'm Gucci. Do you know how much food stamps I could get with 8 kids? The hood is the land of opportunity. I can get a chopped cheese, Chinese food, and Don Julio on the same block.
That kid can't be older than 15. If that. If that. Who do you think is a threat to the African American community? Who do you think? The people who are running around going to white media outlets claiming to be saviors of it. They're the biggest threat. I haven't heard any one of them talk about the education system in Hartford. We've been talking about it all day. This black man, high school dropout, I might add, talking about the education system in Hartford, talking about the 19-year-old Puerto Rican girl who can't read or write. I don't hear the NAACP screaming and hollering. There's money in this. There's a lawsuit going on right now that could turn into a class action lawsuit for the inner city. Millions of dollars could be had. I don't hear anybody in the NAACP jumping on board. I don't hear anybody in Black Lives Matter age 60 jumping on board. There's only one reason why they're not on board. It's as simple as a little 14-year-old.
I ain't got no goals. I was born to stay in the hood.
Are you gonna stay in the hood for the rest of your life?
I might.
How you gonna make money?
The government gonna take care of me. All I gotta do is have 8 kids and I'm Gucci. Do you know how much food stamps I could get with 8 kids? The hood is the land of opportunity. I could get a chopped cheese, Chinese food, and Don Julio on the same block.
Yeah. That's right, baby. They don't want you to be free.
God Almighty gonna pick a bale of cotton. Great God Almighty gonna pick a bale of hay. Great God Almighty gonna pick a bale of cotton. Great God Almighty gonna pick a bale of hay. Oh Lordy, pick a bale of cotton. Oh Lordy, pick a bale of hay. Oh Lordy, pick a bale of cotton. Oh Lordy, pick a bale of hay.
I don't know why we leaving Malcolm high. He been good to us. He feed us on Saturday, clothe us on Sunday, and then beat us on Monday. Or was it Tuesday? I don't know.
Jasper, don't you want freedom? You going to promise land. The promised land.
Promised land. Cleveland?
No, Jasper.
Baltimore?
No, Jasper, the promised land.
Oh, the promised land. Minnesota?
Pick a bale of cotton. Oh Lordy, pick a bale of hay.
I know why they hate me. I await the hate. A little message to that caller a couple of weeks ago. How can you call yourself the Frederick Douglass of the 21st century? I just told you in less than 20 minutes. That's how. I'm going to continue to free the slaves. Even if the NAACP, Black Lives Matter, the Urban League, or any one of these so-called civil rightsers stands by and allow these kids to live in squalor without an education. I'll do it alone. You'll have to kill me to stop me. But don't worry. You ain't got to poison the food because I ain't eating none of that chitlins either. That's right, I said it. When I say I'm not going back, I'm never going back. There'll be no slave food for this guy. None. Just casseroles. Your phone calls are next. 860-522-WTIC. 860-522-9842. We got plenty of news and plenty of views to get into. I promise you I will give you all that, but that was just personal for me when I heard that Al Sharpton story about Eric Adams. So if you got something to say about it, please opine. The phone lines will be open when we get back. It's Reese on the radio, the Frederick Douglass of the 21st century, right here on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Join the Hartford Symphony Orchestra for Serena Plays Sibelius this Valentine's weekend, February 14th through the 16th at the Bushnell in Hartford. Feel the thrill of Strauss's Don Juan, then experience the soul-stirring beauty of William Dawson's Negro Folk Symphony. And don't miss the return of Connecticut native and HSO favorite Serena Juan, lighting up the stage with Sibelius's mesmerizing violin concerto. That's this Valentine's weekend. Tickets start as low as $10 for students. Call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
Ever feel like there aren't enough hours in the day? If you get busy or miss your favorite show, don't worry. With Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app, you can stream your favorite shows on demand. You know your day is better with us. Get the news that matters to you from the local voices you trust. No matter what you're up to, give it a try. To get started, download the free Odyssey app and search for your station. That's AUDACY.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around.
You heard that too, Michael B. too. So did I.
I might just go for it. Keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay.
Did you hear that, Roland?
Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
They advertised the Negro Symphony right after.
Oh, yeah.
Paying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Pope Francis has appointed Richard Reedy to lead the Diocese of Norwich. The bishop-elect comes by way of Worcester, Mass. He succeeds Bishop Emeritus Michael Coate, who reached the mandatory retirement age of 75 last year. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says NATO membership for Ukraine is unrealistic, and in remarks suggested Kyiv should abandon its hopes of winning all its territory back from Russia. Instead, Hegseth says that the country should prepare for a negotiated peace settlement to be backed up by international troops. Senate has confirmed Tulsi Gabbard as President Trump's Director of National Intelligence, the vote coming after Republicans who had initially questioned her experience and judgment fell in line behind her nomination. Consumer Price Index has inflation accelerating 3% over the year prior. Cost of groceries, gas, and used cars among the increases. WTIC News Time, 3:31. Jason Caterina with the forecast.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, clouds yielding to some sun, the high of 36. Tonight, a little accumulation of snow becoming mixed with, then changing to sleet and freezing rain with the low down to 30. Mostly cloudy. It'll be milder on Thursday with steady rain becoming intermittent, the high of 46. So still going to have a damp, raw, chill feel to the air. Then on Friday, plenty of sunshine, windy and much colder, though. The high 31 is going to feel well down in the 20s with the strong winds. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow down 262 points. NASDAQ's up 20. S&P down 17. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck here with Paul, who dropped 45 pounds thanks to Awaken 180. Was losing weight hard with Awaken 180?
Program at the beginning, like anything else, is tricky because, you live a certain way and then you change it. But again, the support they gave me, the way it was explained to me, it was doable. It was amazing. Anybody can do this if you set your mind to it, but with the help you receive from the folks at Awaken 180, you can do this. My mental health is better. My energy is better. My relationship with my coworkers is better. My relationship with my wife and my family, my driving. There's not anything in my life that isn't better. Everything was affected by what I was eating. Awaken 180 gave me the ability to see life through a whole different lens.
Thanks, Paul. Awaken 180 isn't hard. It's an adjustment with how you approach food. It sounds simple because it is with the solution for weight loss. See for yourself online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, basketball fans. It's Liam McNeely, your new freshman recruit. On the court, I know the power of teamwork. It's not just about one player. It's about the whole team coming together to win. That's why I trust the law firm of Brown, Panderis, and Scott. With Brown, Panderis, and Scott, you get more than just a lawyer. You get a team of dedicated professionals fighting for you, working together to make sure you get the best results, just like we do on game day. Remember, when it comes to your legal needs, choose the team that knows the value of teamwork. Visit bpslawyers.com. They're here to win for you.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hi, I'm Joe with
1 minute.
My House is Cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast
I hope your
at a
friends
fair
don't listen
price,
to this
call
show
me
as
at
often.
203-896.
Oh, my friends?
Yeah,
Zero
the ones
No,
you're
I'm-
told to listen to.
I can pick
before.
Oh, yeah, they stopped listening.
I buy houses
They don't care for you a lot.
I know they
affordably
don't.
anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and
My boy was cussing you out the other day.
Was he? Because I
He thinks you don't like black people.
houses,
They always do.
abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896.
Yeah, and 10.
000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
All right, we are back. It's Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Telephone number 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. If you listen or watch the show online, you'll probably hear Roland and I going back and forth. Usually behind the breaks, like getting set up, and I'll ask him something about, something with the show, whatever. And you may have heard him if you were listening. It was like, yeah, a lot of quote unquote people in the community are not fans of Reese on the radio, probably more so because of monologues like that. And there's a difference between me and a lot of people in this space. And let me just put it to you this way. I'm not looking for fans. I'm just not in that way. I believe in calling balls and strikes, and when I see stuff like that happen and no one says anything, I take it right to them. And I'm going to say this, probably because I know it's going to get me in trouble. But I'm saying it because from the bottom of my heart. I don't care who you are. You ain't special. And that's something a lot of people need to be told. You're not special until you do something special. You don't get to be special because you say you are, because you're anything, because you're a woman, because you're a man, because you're black, because you're white, because you're transgender, because you're gay. You're not special. You're not extraordinary until you do extraordinary things. I don't consider myself to be, I do this thing and I do it well and people seem to like me, but other people who don't, I'm cool with that. I don't think that I should be liked or should be treated in a special way. I don't see myself. I don't put myself on a pedestal. But a lot of people do. And they don't think they should be scrutinized. And those are the people I like the most. That's why I go after them the most. So when you're standing there, broad shoulders, talking about, how dare he criticize me? Oh, I want to criticize you more. Just so I know. All the way, some housekeeping I want to tell you. So I know there's some things out there that people are saying, hey, why is Reese not talking about it? The affidavit that involves Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, I'm on it. I'm on the story. Just so people know. Nobody's called me and said, hey, how come you're not talking about it? I'm just letting people know. The Josh Shapiro affidavit that had to do with July 13th, you know what we're talking about. I'm on the story. I'm getting all the details, but I've been wronged on stories like this before. I'm also Anna Paulina's story, that story that came out today, where she's revealing the JFK, RFK, and MLK assassinations, as well as the Jeffrey Epstein list. and hopefully the Diddy list. I'm on it. Until I get some actual documentation, I'm not talking about it until I do. So I just want everybody to know that I'm on the stories that the mainstream news media is not covering. I've got my sources and I got my people giving me stuff every day. And in fact, thanks to a bunch of people like you, you are keeping me in the loop every day. So I'm on it. Now, to the phones we go. Let's go to Tony in Southington. How we doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Reese. How about you, buddy?
I'm all right, sir. What do you got?
All right, yeah, I got the mic drop to your monologue.
What's that?
I'll use my version of words to describe what you were alluding to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you cannot get more oppressive, offensive, insulting, racist, and horrible than the black and white Democrats and liberals in this country that demand that minorities deserve and need constant pity because they're hopeless and helpless in life. Life is about individual accountability. Me as a white person, I have many failures and a few successes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not special, just like nobody else is. I'm a human being. And I want to tell you that. I mean, they talk about DEI, equality. Define the term equality, Democrats and liberals, because you guys are hypocrites. You are keeping a certain group and certain demographics down because you want their vote. You want to keep them ignorant and gullible and hopeless and helpless. You have no respect for the people you're pandering to. You want to shit all over them. Excuse me.
He had to do it. Got to let him go. Let me read based on what he just said. This was, you guys, if you're followers of me on Facebook, you've seen this. If you're not, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com so you can link on, so you can follow me on Facebook. This young lady made a lot of hay, and she's since deleted her Twitter account after she posted it. But I want you to hear her words, not mine. And you got to go to my Facebook page and you'll see it. She writes this: using big words is another form of white supremacy. Blacks who live in urban areas don't have the same access to education as whites. This makes them less smart. If you feel the need to communicate like you are a thesaurus, you are probably a white supremacist. And she thought this was a good thing to write. And again, just so we understand, I'm the person black folks don't like. Okay? And this is why I say the ones who are not fond of me, I go, and what do you think it is? And what do you think it is? They'll excuse that. They excuse it every day. It's okay for you to say that about black kids. That's okay. Yeah, it's, but it is kind of true, Reese. You know what I'm saying? Those kids don't have a lot of education, yo. So, you know what I mean? You are kind of talking down to them. Okay, so me thinking this is offensive, this makes me a bigot in some sort of way? This makes me a black hater? Jeff St. Marlboro, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing all right, man. You're killing it today. You're killing me, man. I gotta tell you that caller that had an expletive and you had to cut him off, but that was spot on.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you though, there's this voice you do, and I have a question about it.
Yes.
When you do like an Al Sharpton voice or like any other black
when I talk like
voice,
when I do this, when I talk like that.
it's spot on. B, I'm wondering if seriously, this is a serious question.
Yeah.
Al Sharpton, sitting at the breakfast table, does he talk like that? Like, pass me those sausages.
Oh, no. I've seen, now, I don't know if you know this. I've had dinner with Al Sharpton back in, it was the Saturday after the R&B singer Aaliyah died in 2021, just 2 weeks before September 11th. I had dinner with Al Sharpton at a place called Mr. Chow's in Manhattan, in Midtown Manhattan. Sitting next to me was the president of the Amsterdam News, the oldest black newspaper, David Dinkins, former mayor of New York, and none other than, I kid you not, Martin Luther King III. I sat at a table with them back in 2021.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. I mean, 2001. I apologize. 2001. Sat with them. And I've heard Al Sharpton speak. And let me just tell you, Al Sharpton uses the F word, and I do not mean the curse word. I mean the slang or the derogatory term for gay people. Yeah.
Yeah, but the inflection in the voice and everything, like he doesn't talk like that normally.
Oh, no,
right?
absolutely not. Oh, no, that is a put on.
It's all part of the grift.
Indeed. It's the objective to sort of like bring us back to the days when people used to talk like that. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
It's like extremely offensive, really.
And it should be. It should be. It should be offensive to everyone. That's why I poke fun at it. I want it to be offensive to them.
You know, I'm a white guy, and I think, oh, does he really talk like that? I'm like, because he's supposed to, or what? You know.
Listen, Mabel, could you do me a favor? Could you pass me the butter? I'd like to put some on my grits. No, they don't talk like that. Thank you, buddy. I get a little lightheaded because I laugh so hard at it. Let's go to Rich in West Hartford. How we doing, Rich?
What's up, Reese? How are you?
I'm good, sir.
You are absolutely killing it today. You're killing it. You have me crying. I had to pull over. I was laughing so hard.
Thank you. Please be safe out there. Please be safe on the roads. Absolutely. I get that a lot.
Absolutely. When are you getting your own show? My God.
You know what? Listen, like I said, I'm here for the duration as long as they'll have me. I don't mean to be so mean-spirited toward these people, but look, Eric Adams, I'm not a fan. I'm not like I'm sitting up here saying Eric Adams is now, MAGA country in some sort of way. But here's a guy who I kind of feel is being picked on by all sides. And you see these people come out of the woodwork. They weren't there for him when he was completely like deluged with not just illegals, but when he's actually stepped up and realized that all of this stuff that he used to believe was sort of, and that's what happened to him as it happens to any other person. Your politics are your politics until you face reality. And they either change or they're codified. And in Eric Adams' case, they were, in essence, they were changed. Right? What he used to believe is no more, and he saw the reality of what he used to believe. The sanctuary city thing, he immediately said, when he started, we're a sanctuary city. By the time he started dealing with sanctuary problems, he was like, we may need to rethink the sanctuary thing. And good, that means as far as progressives are concerned, he's progressing. He's seeing the reality in his point of view. And then when he does, no one steps up for him. But no one steps up for him.
I know. They come out of the woodwork because it did work, but now it's not working, and they realize it. And now they want to lambaste them.
Right, and he had a change of heart. And the minute that he started speaking out, when he was telling the people, and again, he wasn't even talking to a national level. He did a town hall on the Upper West Side, and he was talking to the constituents there, and he was saying, we have 150,000 people in the city that are illegal migrants, and we can't sustain it. He told them. And once that went public, the left and the White House went nuts. And it's the number one city, it's the biggest populous city, and a Democrat mayor was against the illegal immigration that they were funneling into his city. And he was telling his constituents, the people who had to bear the brunt of all of that, that we can't sustain this, we got to do something. And they, instead of working with him or stopping the flow, they attacked him. And Al Sharpton said nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, they're all hypocrites. I know. And I do. I got to piggyback on that guy saying you do a great Al Sharpton impression.
I know. I try. I tries to do it.
You're killing it, my friend. Have a good day.
Thank you, man. You too. Look, again, this is, and the part of this that angers me is, not an Eric Adams fan. And I followed Eric Adams' career when he was the head of the 100 black officers in New York City. As it was called 100 Black Officers in Leadership, 100 Black Officers in something. But he was very prominent in working for police officers, especially African-American police officers in New York City when I was growing up there, and I lived in the city in my 20s. So he was known, but he was an activist then. I never saw him being the mayor of the city, but then again, after de Blasio, anybody would. Kermit the Frog could have been the mayor of New York after de Blasio. But this guy stepped up, and it was probably not that much of an election, but he won it. But when you see a guy who's trying to take care of the city and he sees that something is run amok, and he actually starts realizing that it's hurting him, it's hurting the city, it's hurting the revenue of the city, it's hurting the constituents in the city, that tourism is down, that people are afraid, and everybody's looking to the mayor and saying, what are you going to do? Well, we're going to stop spending our money here. We're going to stop coming to this city to bring our families. Then you are, in essence, you are the captain of a ship that is sinking. What was he supposed to do? And the people who, again, supported him, endorsed him, campaigned with him, were nowhere to be found while the city was turning into ruin. And then the minute that someone came to his aid and said, hey, we hear you, the only reason why Al Sharpton stepped up was because it was a Republican and it happened to be Donald Trump. And when Sharpton stepped up, now he's stepping up to get rid of him. To do what? To bring another, again, all of that other we support you black man stuff out the window. And Al Sharpton is now going to campaign for the white guy. All that power to the people nonsense is muerto. And again, I say to black people who listen to this show, I'm the hater. I'm the person who doesn't like black people. I'm the person you don't care for. You watch this turncoat nonsense happen every day, and you say nothing. You watch the silence that comes from the NAACP and the Black Lives Matter groups across the country. When it really matters to your black kids, you say nothing. Well, I stand up here and I advocate for your children, and I'm the bad guy. That's why I don't care if you hate me. I never can. Because obviously you people, you're delusional. If I'm the bad guy with all of that, who needs you? As Groucho Marx says, I refuse to be a member of a group that would have me as one of theirs, or something like that. It's Groucho Marx. I don't know.
Gotta roll.
All right, we got to take a break. All right, let's get up out of here. We'll be back. More news, more views, your phone calls. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
A new president is sworn in. America's greatness is being restored. And there's breaking news every minute. Now, tens of millions of Americans are turning off Fox and CNN and tuning in to Newsmax for the breaking information they really need to know. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Find it yourself on all major cable systems and on your TV or smartphone store. Just download the Newsmax app for free and start watching. You'll get great shows with Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and Carl Higbie, and more. Find out why millions of Americans have made the switch. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. So make the switch to Newsmax. Check us out on cable and satellite TV or download the Newsmax app today. Watch us anytime, anywhere. Remember, Newsmax is real news for real people.
Come on a minute.
Costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 10% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yes, guys, I do read all the comments in the chat room. And if you want to join the chat room, go to reseontheradio.com, and you can join us on Rumble. You can join us on Facebook and as well as Twitter or X, if you call it that. And did I say Rumble? Yeah. Anyway, you could also join us there. Don't forget, you could win a trip for 4 on the Disney Destiny cruise ship. All you have to do, if you haven't done it already, is download the Odyssey app, and you got to listen to WTIC, News Talk 1080, of course. You got to listen to that at least an hour a day for your chance to win. A minimum of 1 hour a day daily for your daily entry. One lucky listener will win a trip for 4 to sail on the Disney Destiny cruise line. And I actually got to look at this thing, and I'm not gonna lie, I've never been on a cruise ship before, but now I understand why people go. So if you want a chance to do that, please, make sure you download the Odyssey app if you haven't already. Let's go to, hey, my good buddy Mark in West Hartford is on the line. Do you know that Dan Haar has an article in the Connecticut Insider about the what's the name, the Saturday Chris Murphy thing?
No, I did not.
Oh, and it's interesting because in that article, Dan Haar, who you know is an avowed Democrat, says that from what he saw at that event, apparently he was there, he said what I said and what you said. The Democrat Party is in disarray. In his article. It's a big piece,
They
too.
have. First of all, let's get this out of the way. I'm only calling to hear myself speak. So I just like little inside from yesterday.
Yeah, little inside. Yeah, it's a little inside.
Rob Sampson had his sister Pam, or maybe it was his neighbor or coworker in the office call, and I like to hear myself talk, and I don't do anything. Hey, I know we talked about this a little while ago, but it really made me it made me think about what I have to do to get my content out there and covered by the media.
Uh-huh.
So it is funny how we did discuss how where's Scott X Esdale?
Yep.
Where's Scott X? I haven't heard from him.
Nope.
And, since you came around, we talked when I took those rides to Enfield and got involved in Cromwell, and you were questioning the Ram High School.
Yep.
And, all of a sudden they're gone.
Yep.
But let me tell you, this is the part that gets me is with local media. So we know 3 of my stories made it to the news in the past month.
Yep.
One was they were going to get rid of volunteers in Hartford Fire Department. Either pick one or the other. There was a drunk driver. I actually had the camera. Can you imagine? I had the video from the pole, and they brought down firefighters asking who gave it to me. So that turned into a thing. And then we had the Chinese illegal immigrants.
Yeah, the
being
Uni
housed in
place.
Rocky Hill.
Yeah.
But now, let me tell you what I got to do to get that covered. I have to either supply police reports with narratives, emails, so the stuff with the Hartford Fire Department.
So they won't cover the story unless you do all the legwork.
I got to do all the legwork, but now let's get to BLM 860 or Scott XS Dale. They get to call carte blanche anytime they want and make any allegation or claim they want.
100% right.
So rigged. Yeah, they get to say anything. There's not a reporter. These reporters make me jump. I actually have more stuff. They're not
Mark,
even
we're gonna.
covering the Solomon Schechter thing.
I got to get into a hard break, buddy, but I totally
know,
get you.
go ahead.
Let's go to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. How we doing, Mark?
We're doing okay, Reese. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. If you're 91 southbound, they're picking up a vehicle from the right shoulder between 34 and 33 in Hartford. So you're seeing delays approaching 34 down to 32A and B in Hartford. Northbound side 91 moving well from Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 a little tight. Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound's a little slow. 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 doing well east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury's okay 84 to 8. If you're heading into New Haven, a good ride. 91 in the Parkway, no issues there. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, the clouds will yield to some sun, the high of 36. A little snow becoming mixed with and changing to sleet and freezing rain tonight with the low down to 30 degrees. Then on Thursday, mostly cloudy, milder, a steady rain becoming intermittent with the high of 46, so it'll feel damp, raw, and chilly. Then on Friday, plenty of sunshine, windy and colder, the high 31. Going to feel like it's well down in the 20s with those strong west-northwest winds. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC News Talk 1080 is your voice for common sense values and real conservative insight. Every weekday from 9 until 6, we're talking about the latest state and national headlines that matter most to you. From Fox News, Brian Kilmeade, mornings 9 till 11, Tom Shattuck 11 till 2, and Reese on the radio 3 till 6. Join us for the news and discussions. And don't keep us all to yourself. Tell a friend. WTIC News Talk 1080, your source for conservative talk, because Connecticut isn't as blue as it used to be.
That ad hadn't been around in a
WTIC
while.
is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Former students are suing the elite Kent School, saying the school failed to stop a now former IT administrator from accessing their private photos. We get that story from WTIC's Dave Mager.
The lawsuit says a state police search of computers belonging to the Kent School's Daniel Clary turned up more than 3,600 personal images of students, plus text messages and emails. In 2022, a female employee who needed IT assistance found Clary viewing photos from her personal Google account. She told the supervisor, but the school allegedly did nothing. After the female employee caught Clary doing the same type of thing 8 months later, he was fired. It was later determined Clary accessed personal files for 81 Kent School community members, 79 of them females. The lawsuit says the school's handling of the situation was negligent and reckless. Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
An update on a shooting in Waterbury last month that left a teen wounded. Police have arrested 18-year-old Zerquia Cullimore in connection with that incident on January 31st. It was a little after 1:30 in the afternoon that day that police responded to the shooting reported at Congress and Washington Avenues. That's where they found a 17-year-old with a gunshot wound to the arm. Victim transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Cullimore and the vehicle involved in the shooting were picked up Tuesday, say police. He faces a host of charges, among them reckless endangerment, conspiracy, and attempted assault, bond set at $750,000. Sobering news for Ukraine from the Trump administration and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth at NATO headquarters. Here's CBS's Michael Wallace.
Hegseth says President Trump wants to end the war by bringing both Russia and Ukraine to the table, but he warned Ukraine will have to make some sacrifices.
Returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders is an unrealistic objective.
Hegseth added,
The United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement.
He says any international force sent to Ukraine to help keep the peace will not include U.S.
A
troops.
military jet has crashed off the coast of San Diego. This man saw what happened.
It's really kind of breathtaking. I knew the guy was in trouble.
Crew of 2 rescued, taken to the hospital where they're reported in stable condition. The jet that crashed, the Growler, is a 2-seater that specializes in electronic warfare. Medical experts say the measles outbreaks in the nation right now in states including Texas were completely preventable. Here's correspondent Allison Keys.
The CDC says the measles cases are mostly among people not vaccinated against the disease, and all of at least 24 in Texas alone are in unvaccinated people. At Johns Hopkins, Dr. Ramesh Adalja calls this troubling.
This is something that should have been put to bed in the 1960s with the advent of the current vaccine.
Vaccination rates have fallen in at least 10 states, and experts say the U.S. could see the spread of vaccine-preventable diseases such as polio. Allison Keys, CBS News.
There have been confirmed outbreaks in 5 states this year, including Rhode Island and Georgia. And continuing a tradition nearly a quarter century in the making, a Stonington Justice of the Peace will once again offer couples the chance to get married for free this Valentine's Day. Marie Tyler Wiley says she got the idea when she and her husband eloped. Wiley says she wanted to offer an alternative for those eschewing the extravagant, expensive nuptials.
I got into marrying people because my husband and I eloped down in New York City when we were kids, and we thought it was going to be romantic. And it was everything but romantic. It was like slapstick comedy.
Wiley will perform wedding ceremonies on a first-come, first-served basis Friday, Valentine's Day, from 10 a to 2 p. Those looking to renew their vows are welcome. Wiley reminds couples they'll need to obtain a marriage license beforehand at Stonington Town Hall. Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Dow down 225 points. NASDAQ up 6, S&P down 16. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com.
I did not.
I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and
1 minute.
auto
Thanks,
repair
sir.
bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto. So call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
It's Reese on the radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. Right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Do I look that stupid? Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
The stupidest thing I read today, you got to go to reeseontheradio.com for that one. REESE on the radio.com to read the story. Just go to the stupidest thing I read today. Just scroll on down. You'll find that there. Finally, transgender athletes are going to take on a boy in competition. But it's not in the way that you think. So apparently, a couple of New Hampshire teenagers are actually going to take Donald Trump to court because he is, of course, signed an executive order that says that biological boys can't play against biological girls. So a couple of kids in New Hampshire are going to take him to court to fight him on it, which, again, you know that the left-wing media is excited about. They are absolutely excited about. And I was thinking of what Mark in West Hartford just said. You know, it's like he's got to gather all of this information for the news media to even suggest that it's a story worth covering. He's got to show up with documents. He's got to show up with sources. He's got to have quotes. But yet, if it's, you know, African Americans, Latinos, or it's, you know, the transgender community, LGBTQ, and whatever, all you have to do is give them a call and say, hey, there's a problem in our community, and the newsrooms go nuts. They like, send out a news van. Oh, hell, send the chopper. They immediately run towards it. So, of course, this is going to be a big deal. Just a couple of two transgender public high school students who are going to challenge Donald Trump's executive order. It will be all the rage in the left-wing news media, if indeed they can keep up. So if you want to read the story, just go to reeseontheradio.com. That's reeseontheradio.com for the stupidest thing I read today. Now, let's get another check of our traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon. If you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, they're picking up a vehicle from the right shoulder between 33 and 32A and B, so just use caution with that. It's on the right shoulder. Delays approaching 33 down to 32A and B. Northbound 91, quiet. Cromwell up at Winter Locks, 84 eastbound, just a little slowdown. 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84, brief slowdown between 48 and 47 downtown. 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbounds in great shape, Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury, no issues, 84 and 8. And 91 in the Parkway moving well, heading down in toward New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
As we make our way through tonight, a little accumulation of snow becoming mixed with, then changing to sleet and freezing rain overnight, the low down to 30, but then warming up as it'll be mostly cloudy and milder on Thursday, with a steady rain becoming more intermittent as the day wears on, the high 46. For Friday, plenty of sunshine, windy and colder, the high 31. That means watch out for slick spots early in the morning, as temperatures will be below freezing overnight as well. A strong west-northwest wind going to make the high 31 Friday, make it feel like it's well done in the 20s at best. Storm system moves through this weekend. It's going to be messy Saturday, periods of snow in the afternoon, 2 to 4 inches during the day, another coating to an inch at night, and then some periods of sleet and freezing rain mixing on top of that. And then not as cold on Sunday with some periods of rain, the high of 43 Sunday. Right now, it's 34 in Waterbury, 36 in Danbury, 37 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Traffic on I-84 in Hartford keeps on moving slower, but at Columbia Implant Center, we're only getting faster, providing you with specialist care assisted by cutting-edge technology. 1 day, same day, 7 days a week. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Connecticut hospitals care for more than just patients. They care for our workforce, creating 245,000 jobs. They care for our economy as the largest employer in Connecticut. They care for our communities, connecting residents to health screenings, nutritious food, and stable housing. And they care for our future, making healthcare accessible, equitable, and affordable. Connecticut hospitals create real change by caring for Connecticut. Learn more at caringforct.org.
Celebrate twice as much with Birthday Deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. Visit NordVPN and discover the benefits. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Encrypt your online traffic. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better. It's a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychic.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Also, I want to give a round of applause to Tulsi Gabbard, head of the DNI, confirmed today. I don't know if she's taken an oath. If somebody can tell me in the chat room whether or not she's taken the oath, I want to see that on video. I'm because everybody's kind of been having Clarence Thomas, the Supreme Court Justice, Clarence Thomas, swear them in. I want to know, who is the justice who actually swore them in swore her in, I should say. If anybody knows that, to let me know if that's happened as of yet. I know it just happened this afternoon, so I want to give her props. And I do understand that tomorrow, Robert F. Kennedy will, I guess he'll get his vote tomorrow. I thought both of those were going to happen today, but we just found out that's going to happen tomorrow. It's very snowy in D.C. I'm looking at some video now of that. Let me get into this, because I know some people in the chat room at the beginning of the show were asking me about the song that they had never heard before. Let me play it again for those of you who may have missed it. And I've grown up with this. What I guess the best way you can call it is a Negro spiritual called Pick a Bale of Cotton. And this particular version of it, and there are plenty, even Johnny Cash has a version of this song called Pick a Bale of Cotton, which isn't too bad. Johnny Cash is one of my favorite singers. But you can listen to his as well. You can find it on YouTube.
Great God Almighty gonna pick a bale of hay. Great God Almighty gonna pick a bale of cotton. Great God Almighty gonna pick a bale of hay. Oh Lordy, pick a bale of cotton.
Oh, Lordy, pick a bale of day.
Oh Lordy, pick a bale of cotton. Oh Lordy,
Pick a bale of day. Now, when I grew up, I used to think that the second line was, oh, Lordy, pick a bale of cotton. Oh, Lordy, pick a bale of hay. But it's pick a bale a day. That's right. See, only Rama would know that. The first time I'd ever heard it was Steve Martin's The Jerk. That was the first time I'd ever heard it in the 70s when I was a kid, and it's always been a favorite of mine. And that is by an artist by the name of Leadbelly, that version of it. But you can, go watch the movie, the movie The Jerk. That's the song that they're playing. Now, the reason why I play that one is because the people who were protesting Doge yesterday were singing a song called Which Side Are You On, which is another Negro spiritual. This was a song that they used to sing during the civil rights movement. And if you've ever been, and I implore you to go to the Lorraine Motel and the civil rights exhibit inside the Lorraine Motel. The African-American History Museum next door is garbage. No offense, but it is. But there is a museum inside the Lorraine Motel, of course, in Memphis, Tennessee, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered. And inside there, they play Which Side Are You On? And the first time I'd ever heard that was in 1998. And I really loved the song. I sat there at that exhibit for a while to listen to the whole song. I love that song, Which Side Are You On? Which in essence was a call to arms. Are you for civil rights or are you not? So to listen to these people sing it yesterday talking about Doge, this couldn't be more sacrilege.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me, which side are you on? Which side are you on? We'll fight against George. We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk.
This is a race crime. Hey, if Black Lives Matter or NAACP want to call a racial crime, a hate crime on this, I'm with you all the way on this one. I'm there with you. I will help you file. I will sign a petition. I will even go down as a witness to this hate crime. This is I'm serious. These people did it.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me, which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I would have changed the words to it at this. You are all morons. You are all morons. So what are they complaining about? They're complaining about Doge. And of course, they got some lawyers or they got some judges to actually side with them and put a hold on Donald Trump. But this is interesting to listen to these liberals take this side about Donald Trump should listen to the judges and when the judges step in. But they didn't seem to feel that way. I mean, here's Elizabeth Warren 6 months ago versus this month, again, 6 months apart, talking about Supreme Court judges and the rule of law and the amount of latitude or lack thereof they give the President of the United States.
We have a Supreme Court that has basically jumped the guardrails and is out there giving power to the president, saying that the president can commit any act that the president wants, saying that Congress cannot authorize agencies to act. So we've got a Supreme Court that is actively undermining our democracy. My view right now is the courts are where we are hanging on to our constitutional structure. They still have the power to hold everybody else in this country in contempt if they do not follow lawfully issued court orders.
Yeah. So now she cares about the rule of law. Here's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Same subject matter, the judges. Not so much about this, but this had to do with the what is it called? The methopristal, whatever it is, the abortion drug. This is her talking to Anderson Cooper about just that. Again, listening to judges.
There has been thought, I believe, given to this. Senator Ron Wyden has already issued statements, for example, advising what we should do in a situation like this, which I concur, which is that I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. I think that the courts have the legitimacy and they rely on the legitimacy of their rulings. And what they are currently doing is engaged in an unprecedented and dramatic erosion of the legitimacy of the courts. It is the justices themselves, through the deeply partisan and unfounded nature of these rulings, that are undermining their own enforcement.
Again, so she's saying that, they're undermining their own enforcement. So Anderson Cooper here is going to ask you, what should the president do? Joe Biden, of course. What should he do in all of this? Should there be some sort of enforcement if he doesn't? Interesting. Listen to what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says. It boggles the mind what you were about to hear.
You're saying the Biden administration should ignore this court, but what does that look like? What does that actually mean?
I think the interesting thing when it comes to a ruling is that it relies on enforcement. And it is up to the Biden administration to choose whether or not to enforce such a ruling.
So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says, hey, Joe Biden is in charge of the DOJ. The court said that he shouldn't do that. And if he does, the only person who can actually charge him is his DOJ. So he can instruct the DOJ to do nothing. So he can circumvent the law. He can ignore the judges and do whatever he wants. Well, in essence, you're giving license to Donald Trump to do the same thing. Hey, Pam, I'm about to ignore the judge's order. Stand down. According to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, he's within his right to do so. Isn't that the case? But let's look at this judge. Did you hear one of the judges is from, I think he's from Boston. I could be wrong here. But listen to this guy. This guy is an Obama judge. He made the ruling on stopping Donald Trump. Somebody tell me, based upon this interview, whether or not U.S. District Judge John McConnell is an activist judge.
When you're sentencing someone, when we talk about sentencing, that you have to take a moment and realize that this, middle-class, white, male, privileged person needs to understand the human being that comes before us, that may be a woman, or may be black, may be transgender, may be poor, may be rich, may be whatever, may have experiences that aren't yours, and you have to walk in their shoes and understand that the law applies to them where they are, and then you have to apply the law accordingly.
That according to their race or their gender or their sexual orientation, that the law may apply differently to them. So again, a black man could look at a robbery and say, but I'm hungry. You don't know my struggle. I'm looking at the law differently than you are. So he, as a judge, as a district court judge, says, okay, you know what? I'm a white middle-class male. I probably don't understand your struggle. So let me apply the law based upon how you see the law, black man. That's it. That's the way. Again, somebody who's a liberal, tell me how he didn't say that.
When you're sentencing someone, when we talk about sentencing, that you have to take a moment and realize that this, middle-class, white, male, privileged person needs to understand the human being that comes before us, that may be a woman, or may be black, may be transgender, may be poor, may be rich, may be whatever, may have experiences that aren't yours, and you have to walk in their shoes and understand that the law applies to them where they are.
The law applies to them where they are. So you can make it up as you go along. This is it's crazy. I can't believe I'm hearing this. I can't believe it. All of this is insanity. Let's go to the phones real quick. Sean's in Meriden. How we doing, Sean?
Hey, how you doing? This is the hat guy. But two of the things that you said, which were and I love what you just played, because basically they're saying it's situational law.
Yes.
Just depends on your circumstances, and so I'm one of 7 kids, brought up by a single mom, without a dad. So technically, I don't know what I'm doing at 65, so I can just do whatever the fat I want. No, that is not the law, moron. And the other thing that you said earlier about they were telling you, like when you were talking about your dialogue in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's based on your conditional blackness.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? So if you're black enough, you can then say what you want to say or do whatever you want to do. But if you're not black enough, depending on who you're talking to,
yes,
then we'll take that into account and we'll see whether or not we want to get mad at you.
Yes, and exactly. And my problem is that I rank very low on the blackometer. I'm not very high.
So do I. Matter of fact, my boys were said they're the whitest little black guys you've ever seen. Because my wife was very, very fair skinned and German.
Yeah.
And so my boys are like light. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You don't get black enough so that you get
exactly.
Black.
Your kids aren't black though. Your kids aren't black. They're just blah. They're black.
Oh no. Actually, what technically my boys called it is we're mocha.
Exactly. Which means they're $9 at Starbucks. That's all that means. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. I love that. Let's go to Joe's in New Hampshire. Thanks for holding, Joe. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, hi. I have 4 things I need to get by you. They're very critical. Larry Kudlow had a big interview today.
I just saw it.
Doge. And you saw where he brought up Samantha Powers. He said she came into public service much better than most senators and Congress people. I guess she had a net worth of about $1.8 million.
Mm-hmm.
And when she left, she had over $30 million. And she's one of the people they're going to be looked into by Doge among senators and Congress people. He says the list is too long to mention.
Hold on. That is exactly what Elon was talking about in that impromptu press briefing in the Oval Office, where he said that there was a public official who makes hundreds of thousands of dollars who seemingly walked away with about $30 million. And
he was saying she made $180,000 a year, and she went 6 times what she came into, left more than 6 times. Now, Chris Murphy's on that list.
Oh, I know.
He is.
Oh, I know.
So that's why he's freaking out. His world's about to end for him the way he knows it. He'll be back to where he was in 2000, but maybe in jail on top of it. It's worse than just being bankrupt to be in jail.
I think that's the reason why so many senators are going back home and holding these town halls to see if they can rally some support, because you're right. There are going to be some names on this USAID list that, again, is not going to be something. They need something that sort of like will sort of be spin doctors for them. I don't think they're going to get out of this gracefully.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell could very well be on that list too. Okay, that's the first thing of the 4. The second thing is John Larson, that medical emergency he suffered.
Yeah, what about him?
It's exactly what Mitch McConnell had freezing at the mic.
I thought he was going to fall. I thought he was going to pass out.
Despite what they're telling you, heart valve transplant 10 years ago, et cetera, it really doesn't matter. He had a TIA. He had a stroke. That was a stroke.
That's what my wife said.
Experience with this, with my mother. She had TIAs, and from those days on, it only took 3 months. Dementia starts to settle in gradually, and it's progressive. It's just what Biden had. So John Larson is going to be Biden in about 3 or 4 years as far as his mental acuity. And, that's karma. He's getting his karma back, voting no on Lincoln Riley. He deserves it. The next thing I'd like to bring up, Nancy Pelosi. No one has mentioned this, and I know this from firsthand experience. My mother, a long time ago, fell and fractured her hip in 2 places. Now, Nancy Pelosi had a broken hip and a hip replacement.
Yeah.
The surgeon told me, he said, well, your mother's my mother was in her 80s. He said, well, she's fortunate in this respect. Women or people in their 80s that break their hips and have a hip replacement, have a survival rate of 1 year, 5%.
I knew you were going to bring that up. I got to take a break, though, Joe. I knew he was going to bring that up. I'm going to talk about that a little bit in the next hour because I saw Nancy Pelosi walking out there with those two crutches. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. 84 eastbound, you got delays 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley Bridge. We have an accident in Manchester now, and it's 84 eastbound. Just prior to exit 60, blocking the right lane. Delays are approaching 59 in the 384 off-ramp behind that. Westbound 84, tied up Oakley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Southbound 91's a little slow at 32A and B. No problem. Northbound 91, Cromwell up into Windsor. 291 eastbound's a little tight. I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 eastbound moving while Glastonbury into Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury looks good, 84 and 8. 91 in the Parkway, no issues heading down in toward New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, clouds yielding to some sun, the high of 36. Tonight, a little accumulation of snow becoming mixed with, then changing to sleet and freezing rain with the low down to 30. Mostly cloudy. It'll be milder on Thursday with steady rain becoming intermittent, the high of 46. So still going to have a damp, raw, chill feel to the air. Then on Friday, plenty of sunshine, windy and much colder, though. The high 31 is going to feel well down in the 20s with the strong winds. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut from breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now. And now, a WTIC News Update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, and as you heard there, winter weather advisory goes up later tonight and into early tomorrow. The precip to begin as snow, transition over to sleet, freezing rain and rain before wrapping up early Thursday, and that could create some issues for the morning drive on Thursday, and then another round of precipitation in for the weekend as well. Pope Francis has tapped a new bishop for the Diocese of Norwich. Bishop-elect Richard Reedy has been chosen. Bishop Emeritus Michael Cote retired last year at the mandatory age of 75. Police in Hamden investigating a pedestrian crash in town Tuesday evening. Victim sustained serious injuries, was taken to an area hospital. The person behind the wheel remained on scene and is cooperating. President Trump says he held a talk today with his Russian counterpart, discussed a number of subject matters, including possible working towards an end to the 3-year war with Ukraine. And if you're looking to tie the knot this Valentine's Day, you can do so in southeastern Connecticut. Old Mystic, the place to do it. Friday, for 24 years, Justice of the Peace Marie Tyler Wiley will marry couples for free at Old Mystic Village. The ceremony's first come, first serve from 10 a to 2 p. Wall Street, the Dow finished down 225 points today. NASDAQ up 6, S&P down 16. Women's college basketball tonight. Number 7 UConn hosts the Red Storm of St. John's. That's a 7:30 tip here. NBA, a full slate of games before the All-Star break gets underway. The Celtics host San Antonio. Knicks at the Garden take on the Hawks, and the Nets are home to Philly. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
My name is Paul. I'm 58 years old. I lost 45 pounds thanks to the Awaken 180 program. Before Awaken 180, I was drinking Pepto out of the bottle at night to go to sleep from heartburn. I was struggling getting up and down the stairs, like tired all the time. And I didn't know that's how it wasn't supposed to be. I just accepted that's how my life is. And then one day I said, it doesn't have to be this way. I made a decision to change my life, and I chose Awaken 180, and that was the best choice I ever made. I needed support. I'm a person who needed support. Awaken 180 provided that support for me. They changed my relationship with food. I changed it with their guidance. That was the whole thing. I had to change my relationship with food. And I learned how to eat. I learned healthy fats. I learned all about sugar and what it does to me. And I just learned a new way to live.
A change Paul and I both needed, and we received with Awaken 180 online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Your legend begins aboard the Disney Destiny, and we have your chance to win a trip for 4 to set sail on the all-new ship from Disney Cruise Line sailing November 2025. Embrace the tales of your favorite Disney, Pixar, and Marvel heroes and villains as you write your own incredible vacation story. Winning is easy. Just download the free Odyssey app. Log in and listen to this station or any participating station. Listen each day for a minimum of 1 hour for your daily entry in this national contest. Your legend begins where the magic meets the sea on the Disney Destiny.
On WTIC News Talk 1080.
Paid for by government. History of America's Silver Eagle coin series. There's never been a mint state coin struck with a special privy mark until now. That's right. The world's most popular silver bullion coin has just been struck with a special star privy mark. Silver Eagles are the best-selling silver coin since first being introduced by the U.S. Mint in 1986. This is an amazing and historic event, but you must hurry. A strict limited edition mintage has been set, and once they are gone, they are gone. These first ever Silver Eagles are brand new legal tender coins minted in 99.9% pure silver by the Philadelphia Mint. For a limited time radio offer, save $5 off every coin. Just call 1-800-473-3993 to secure the first ever star privy marked Mint State Silver Eagle coin. Plus receive free shipping, but you must call now. Call 1-800-473-3993 now to secure this first ever Silver Eagle. That's 1-800-473-3993.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I'm still looking at a couple of stories here. We've got Donald Trump was just giving a press conference about his meeting that's going to take place with Vladimir Putin. And, of course, his conversations with Putin has now been made public, talking about their peace talks that are now in, I guess there's an arrangement now. I think there was some preemptive talking in the last couple of weeks because we just got someone back in a trade from them as well. So that's going to happen very soon. Finally, that war will be over. And he just also said he's going to be in Saudi Arabia, which is going to be an interesting meeting with all of these people there. So Donald Trump will be barnstorming world leaders, probably dealing with the Gaza Strip and Putin and Zelensky with all of that in the coming days, which is, again, I don't know how anybody is keeping up for that matter. But it is, it's something to see. Like I said, I told you, I don't know about you, but as viewers or listeners of this and talk radio or the news cycle, I know exactly how you feel because I don't do this as a host. I'm just like you. I almost feel like I'm you know how they say they use the term player coach? That's the way I am with this whole thing. I'm a player coach. Like I get to be on the radio, but I'm a fan like you. So I get to watch the game and sort of participate in it as a host. It's fun to sort of watch this go down. And I've never been more excited to watch all of this stuff go down and to watch the news media's reaction to it. Go listen to the press briefings. Every day is fun. It's funny because pop culture is taking a back seat to politics in a way we've never seen it before. If you really think about it. Like, I know there's some people out there who think, like, you know, there's a whole world out there with celebrity, the movies, the music and all that. No. Every one of those things that are usually sort of the I want to say the mainstays of our culture, they seem to be dabbling or dipping their toe into the political world or making their statements political. Let me give you an example. I have never seen more people in that space trying to explain to political folks what we didn't understand about the Kendrick Lamar performance at the Super Bowl. There are so many people bending over backwards, twisting themselves into pretzels to explain that to us. And we're like, we don't care. We don't care.
Best Super Bowl performance ever.
Sure it was. Of course it was the best ever, Roland. Of course it was. That thing with Prince in the Rain, nonsense.
Just went over y'all heads.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because that's what Super Bowl performances are supposed to do. Go over our heads. It's a TED Talk. I totally missed it. Let's get another check. of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Please, Mark, explain this to the traffic to them slowly. We don't want this to go
nice and slow, so you can take it all in.
Don't give them a Kendrick Lamar reading. Oh, sorry.
Kendrick Lamar is like the hottest rapper on the planet right now.
I
so.
know, but that thing was lukewarm at best. It was.
Well, you and I are going to go with like Prince, and
Yes.
the younger generation is going to go with Kendrick Lamar. And
Yeah,
I'm sure
exactly.
the stuff that we liked as kids, our parents couldn't stand either. So
He
it's
brought
just a
back baggy
generation thing.
pants. Men are wearing men are wearing bell-bottom pants now.
Really?
Because of this. Yes. Apparently
You won't
that's a
see me
trend.
in bell-bottom pants.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke.
And you know what? I hate suits now. They don't have cuffs on the bottom. You know what?
Really?
Yeah. Well, like dress slacks.
yes.
They don't cuff them anymore. They're just like the.
Oh, they're
everything
very
is like
straight.
The,
Yes,
the
you're right.
skinny look. Yeah, the real skinny
I don't like
look.
that either.
Yeah, I hate that. Every pair of parents like cuff them up, sir, and they're like, "Well, you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm old school, dude. Put the cuffs on them."
Damn right.
On the pants, not my wrist. 84 eastbound, you got delays. 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley Bridge. East of the river, we have a crash just prior to exit 60 in Manchester. Right lane blocked there. Delays are just after exit 58 up to the accident scene. Stay to the left. Now westbound 84 is slowing from the tunnel out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Southbound 91 losing a little speed at 32A and B in Hartford. Northbound 91 moving well Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 384 okay. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown, quiet Waterbury. If you're heading toward New Haven, no issues on 91 and the Parkway. We do have a road closure up in Suffield, and that's Route 168. That's shut down between Phelps Road and Babbs Road because of an accident there. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A little snow accumulation tonight, becoming mixed with then changing to sleet and freezing rain. So expect some slick conditions for a bit. The low down to 30 tonight. The mostly cloudy, milder on Thursday. Steady rain becomes more intermittent as the day wears on. The high 46. It'll be breezy, Thursday night, partly cloudy. The low dropping down to 25. So any standing water is going to freeze Thursday night. Watch out for slick spots Friday morning, rather. Plenty of sunshine, a windy and colder day, the high 31. Going to feel like it's well done in the 20s with a strong and cold west-northwest wind. Saturday, cloudy and cold, periods of snow in the afternoon, 2 to 4 inches Saturday afternoon. Some snow early Saturday night, then a coating to an inch, then periods of sleet and freezing rain after that, coating to an inch. The low will hit 26, then rise into the lower 30s. Then not as cold Sunday. Going to be messy as we have periods of rain on top of all that snow, the high 43. Currently, it is 34 in New London, 32 in Mansfield, 36 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after rebate and receive 2 times O rewards when you buy 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic motor oil. Visit your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'Reilly.com.
Hey, I'm not one to brag, but it's our birthday, 100 years. I'm sure you've heard, and I'm sure the present that you have for us is incredible, right?
Hi, this is Joel Johnson with Johnson Brunetti. Do not make mistakes when it comes to Social Security decisions. Get our free guide, Social Security Decisions. Call or text the word security to request your copy. 1-800-705-1232. Call or text the word security to 1-800-705-1232
Are you in the chat room? I mean, the chat. No, you know what I mean.
1232 to get your free guide. 1-800-705-1232.
Oh, yeah.
705-1232.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a time...
1 minute.
Announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all.
Call for your free info kit. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
So I'm sitting here at the same time that you are, and I'm pretty sure many of you are checking out. So Donald Trump's giving a press conference. I think this is in the Oval Office, but he's got a podium there with a microphone. He's answering all of these questions. And apparently he is going to give an address to the nation where he is going to be reading the names of individuals who have been receiving this money from USAID and other places. So they've actually found names that he's going to read. So in this press conference, he's going to do this tomorrow, which again, I am here for. I cannot wait. So while these bozos are out there singing, which meds are you on? Which meds are you on? While these people are out there screaming that nonsense, looking like a bunch of idiots.
The good ones.
They're on the good meds. He's going to be revealing some of the things that they've been spending our money on. This is Caroline Levitt at the press briefing today, and you had CNN talking about what's his name? Touching himself. What's the guy's name that was fired and then brought back? He was touching himself on a Zoom call. I can't remember his name right now. Somebody will tell me in the chat room. But he's back over at CNN talking about they didn't produce any evidence. They didn't produce any evidence that this money's going there. Well, Caroline Levitt did today.
As for the actual receipts, we are happy to provide them, and I actually brought some today because all of you know I love to bring the receipts. We have contracts upon contracts that we can send and provide this information to you. Let me be very clear. We are not trying to hide anything. We have been incredibly transparent, and we will continue to be. These are screenshots of contracts that DOJ found across our government. This is a DEI contract, $36,000 for U.S. citizenship and immigration services. That is against the president's policies and his America First agenda. This is a $3.4 million contract, a Council for Inclusive Innovation at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, Department of Commerce, another DEI contract that DOJ identified. I can continue to go through these. Oh, I love this one, $57,000 for climate change in Sri Lanka. What is this doing to continue the interests of the American people? Absolutely nothing. These are the line items across the federal government that DOJ is identifying daily. They're moving very fast. There's a lot of paper that we can show you, but we're happy to do it. This administration has been more than transparent about what DOJ is doing. And here's one of their tweets that they posted about the mine. I believe this is in Pennsylvania, where the federal employee retirement system is being processed. Did anybody know this was even happening in our country before Elon Musk talked about it in the Oval Office yesterday? A lot of Americans didn't. So we are providing transparency and accessibility on a daily basis when it comes to DOJ. And I also have a DOJ daily report, if anybody would like it, on all of the things that they are identifying and finding. We're happy to provide this information to you. We're talking about it every single day.
Yeah, and we are talking about it every single day, but the media won't cover it. She's handing them the paperwork, and everyone is just poo-pooing it and denying it that it's even there. So the president says tomorrow, I'm just going to start releasing names. Now, they have to cover it. No matter what, he is the president of the United States, and they have to cover it. And when he starts reading the names, people are going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter if the press saying, oh, but it was BS and it was this and it was that. It doesn't matter. The American news media is going to have to expose it. And the people who are consuming that news, the average citizen, is going to hear their money being squandered by this government. And they're going to see CNN. They're going to see MSNBC, ABC, NBC, and CBS. They're going to see all of them sit up there and poo-poo your money. They're going to sit up there and poo-poo and make excuses for your money being wasted. And you think that they're going to regain your trust? They don't care about your trust. They care about the administrative state, and they know that it's blowing up. That's all they know. That's all they care about. It's despicable to watch, but here we are. Simsbury Joe's on the line. How we doing, Joe?
I am doing well. How are you today?
I'm all right, sir. What's up?
So I'm not that smart, so I'm going to channel my inner Mark for a moment here.
Okay.
So our Speaker of the House in Connecticut, Matt Ritter, is a partner at an outstanding, long-standing law firm in the state of Connecticut, Shipman and Goodwin.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if there's a story here.
Okay.
But he's not involved with the particular area I'm going to talk about. But I'm assuming that as a partner, that he probably shares in the proceeds of all of the activities of the firm as part of his compensation. So how is it that he can be the Speaker of the House, be a partner at Shipman and Goodwin, and have Shipman and Goodwin advising clients on how to deal with Donald Trump and Tom Homan and illegal immigration?
Yeah, we call that a conflict of interest where I come from. That, by the way, that's Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah, someone might say, oh, then he needs to recuse himself from anything to do with immigration type matters in the state of Connecticut.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work because he's the man in charge behind the curtain. So just because he might recuse himself, his vote really doesn't matter in the state of Connecticut.
Right, because it's an overwhelming Democrat vote, right?
Yeah, he'd have the ability to be guiding people as to what to do.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, and I'm not saying Shipman and Goodwin is doing anything wrong in terms of their advice to people.
Right.
But the only advice they could really give people now, other than if ICE knocks on the door, open it wide and turn over the paperwork and the people. Anything beyond that, and I could be wrong, it seems like the Trump administration has said that you better not get in our way or do anything at all to interfere with what the law is, which is to remove these people from the United States. So I'm just wondering, how this works and whether or not there's other people in other parts of the country who may have gone to jail for these types of things.
And usually they would. Again, listen, if there's one thing that I know, there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of tough talk. Sad part is that the people who are doing the tough talk are usually the guys you find hiding behind the jukebox, okay, or behind the desk, okay? Tong, not a tough guy. Lamont, none of these guys are tough guys. That's why when you see them at these town halls or you see them get asked tough questions, even by their own constituents, they have no answers. They are not going to get themselves in handcuffs protecting illegals while average citizens are asking for the mandate of the President of the United States. So I know a lot of these people, they're talking a lot of tough talk. There's nothing coming of it. They only want their ink. That's all they want. All of this stuff is ink gathering for them. Another thing to put in their billfold to say, I did that. But when the chips came down, they'll do nothing. I know this. And again, if they were, you would hear them today standing in front of any one of those NGOs or the 501c3s saying, come on, Homan, try and take them. What happened when Phil Murphy said that he had an illegal sitting up in his garage above his cars? His people came out the next day and just said, well, he doesn't really have one. That's not true. Because they know that Homan is going to put them in handcuffs. And Murphy very much ran the risk of being locked up. He knew it, and he knew that Homan wasn't playing. So I don't see any of that.
So yesterday, if I can conclude here, the Rob Sampson call, there was something I forgot to mention.
What was that?
And that is that, Mark had this expectation that Rob go to the West Hartford event. I'm very surprised, especially with the caller that finished your show yesterday, that Rob was not made aware of the Johanna Hayes event, which was very similar and was held in Cheshire, where the woman called in from yesterday in defense of Rob. So I guess the only thing I can say is that Rob needs to look at his inner circle to figure out if people are alerting him to some of the things that he should be alerted to.
Right.
And if he's
they
not
should
gonna
have their
go to
nose
West
to the
Hartford,
ground.
then
You're
go
right.
to Cheshire.
You're right. They should have their nose to the ground and find out exactly what Democrats are doing in the state and someone being there to find out what's going on. Because what we found out, in fact, Dan Haar, in his article, he said that a lot of people were dejected inside that meeting and were talking about, asking us for $5 donations isn't enough. The people in that room, they want insurrection. That's what he got from those people he spoke to. Dan Haar, look up the article. It's out there now. The people who were in that room, they're not asking for civil disobedience. They want insurrection. They want war. And that's the reason why people are concerned. And that's why, if you watch that video, Murphy's got his head down for most of it because he knows that he's got rabid dogs out there. And he made them. He created them.
Yep.
So, thank you.
In the future, I'd appreciate, people like Rob who are patriots going to an event like that and just saying, hey, I'm a state representative. Or a state senator, depending on who happens to go to the event. I would like the opportunity to come in. Can you provide me a seat? Because I'd like to ask a question.
Indeed.
I have no expectation of them holding signs, yelling, anything like that, but go inside with your power and represent our interests.
Agreed. You're right. Absolutely. I think this was more of a rallying, but you're right. People need to have their nose to the ground and sniff these things out, these little town halls, and get inside ahead of time and get a seat in that room and get to that microphone and ask a question that kind of puts these guys on their heels, force them to answer the questions for the constituents who aren't represented in those town halls because they clearly weren't.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy.
Very much.
You got it, boss man. Do I have time for this? Yeah, I guess I do. Why not? Let's take it on. Hello, Tim. It's been a while. How are you?
Hello. Well, I try to pace myself because I listen to actually what you have to say, and I, like you just said, that the people in that town hall, for example, were wanting insurrection and all that sort of stuff. It's just complete. Yeah, it's an opinion, okay?
What's an opinion?
I wanted to talk about.
What's an opinion?
Well, your opinion or Dan Haar's.
I heard them.
Haar's opinion.
Dan Haar was in the room.
Well, great, and I know about half the people in that room also.
Okay, so did you hear them say that they were talking about the Koreans who laid down their life to get into a building they had every right to go in, injecting John Lewis in John Lewis? What's he famous for? For getting beat over the head in Selma. That's what John Lewis. Right. So you're going to sit up here and tell me that the crowd who was cheering that woman on, who Dan Haar covers in his article because he gives her name and what she does, and talked about how the people in that crowd were cheering her on, talking about how they no more time for civil disobedience and asking for $5, that they wanted action. You're going to sit up here and tell me that they didn't want an insurrection?
Well, action means Congress people going to the Department of Education trying to figure out what to do, press conferences on a consistent basis. But, I'm listening to, the Secretary of Defense talking about, the war in Ukraine, that war that Trump famously said over and over that he could solve in 24 hours.
He's solving it now.
I was still, so yeah, right. I know. So how is he saying? He's saying that there will be.
So let me make sure I get this right, Tim. Hold on, Tim. Let me make sure I get this right. So a president of the United States tells Putin, don't, and he does. And then that war goes on for years and years and years. And we just keep funding it on the Zelensky, Ukraine side. And then this president comes in and in 26 days gets them to the table to have a conversation about ending it. And you're expecting us to pay attention to the lackluster. Wait. Let me finish my sentence.
Am I gonna?
I am, as soon as I'm done with my sentence. And you're going to sit up here and tell me that after a war that took years, where the president of the United States did everything in his power to stop the war from ever happening, had no luck. This guy comes in and in 26 days, he's got them sitting at the table negotiating a ceasefire, if not an end to the war. And you think that we're supposed to keep our eye on the ball? And it says that Donald Trump didn't get it in day one. He got it on day 25, and we're supposed to say, see, he's not as effective as he's.
Is it time for the news and you to cut me off yet? Do I get a chance to actually respond? So basically what I said
I'm going to say that, unfortunately, you don't. because you came in here with that BS, and you should have focused. You should focus. But it's okay. Put him back on hold. We'll deal with him in the next hour. For now, let's get another check of our traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, look for delays on the eastbound side of 84. About a half mile before 46th and Avenue to the Bulky Bridge. You're tight again, 58 out to just prior to exit 60 in Manchester. Got an accident blocking the right lane. There's a tow truck there picking up one of the vehicles as we speak, so hopefully that's out of there shortly. You're on the westbound side of 84, slowing Bulky Bridge out to 46th and Avenue. Both sides of 91, okay, Cromwell up and Windsor locks. 291, 384, moved well east of the river. 2 eastbounds, okay, Glastonbury into Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury slightly slow as you approach the Mixmaster on the westbound side of 84. 91 in the Parkway moving well, heading down in toward New Haven. Road closure in Suffield right now. Route 168 is shut down between Phelps Road and Babbs Road because of an accident there. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The clouds will yield to some sun, the high of 36. Tonight, a little accumulation of snow becoming mixed with and changing to sleet and freezing rain with the low down to 30 degrees. Mostly cloudy, milder Thursday, though. The steady rain will become more intermittent with the high up to 46, so still a damp, raw chill to the air. Then for our Friday, plenty of sunshine, windy and colder, the high 31. Going to feel like it's well down in the 20s at best with that strong cold west-northwest wind at 12 to 25 miles an hour. Now Saturday, cloudy, will get periods of snow in the afternoon, the high 29. Saturday night, periods of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Some of that snow early, though, the high of 26. Sunday, just periods of rain, another damp, raw, chilly feeling day with the high only 38. Windy and colder Monday, the high 26. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut, from breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 36 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Pope Francis has appointed Monsignor Richard Reedy as the new bishop of the Diocese of Norwich. The news came today as a multi-million-dollar settlement with sexual abuse victims was also announced. Reedy comes to Norwich by way of the Diocese of Worcester, Massachusetts. At his introductory press conference, Reedy addressed the Pope's rebuke this week of the Trump administration's plans for the mass deportation of migrants.
The church teaches on immigration issues that wealthy nations should have an openness to those who are fleeing persecution or needing, not having the opportunities to take care of their family. The church also teaches, though, in the catechism that those who come should abide by the lawful processes that are here.
Reedy replaces Bishop Emeritus Michael Cody, who retired last year at the mandatory age of 75. Immigration and Customs Enforcement out of Boston say it has detained a Brazilian national convicted here in Connecticut on sexual assault and other offenses. Details from WTIC's Morgan Cunningham.
We're learning 52-year-old Emerson Eduardo Ferreira was arrested January 24th in the eastern Connecticut town of Brooklyn after he'd been released from state custody. In 2023, Ferreira was convicted on sexual assault, unlawful restraint, and 2 counts of violation of a protective order. He was sentenced to 18 years in prison, suspended after 4 years, and followed by 10 years on probation. Ferreira, who entered the U.S. legally in 1999, violated terms of his entry according to ICE. ICE says it issued an immigration detainer against Ferreira last April with the Connecticut Department of Correction and served him with a notice to appear before a Department of Justice immigration judge. Ferreira remains in ICE custody. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
Waterbury police have made an arrest in a shooting that left a teenager wounded last month. They picked up the suspect, 18-year-old Zerquia Kalimar. He was wanted in the shooting of the 17-year-old on January 31st at Congress and Washington Avenues. The victim sustained minor or non-life-threatening injuries to the arm, was treated at an area hospital. Colomar and the vehicle involved, police say, were picked up on Tuesday. The suspect faces a number of charges, including reckless endangerment and attempted assault. Tulsi Gabbard has been confirmed as the nation's Director of National Intelligence. The only Republican not to vote for confirmation was Senator Mitch McConnell. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
We simply cannot, in good conscience, trust our most classified secrets to someone who echoes Russian propaganda and falls for conspiracy theories.
Final vote 52 to 48. President spoke today with his Russian counterpart and talked about an end to the war in Ukraine, among other topics.
In a post on Truth Social, the president called the phone call lengthy and productive. He said they discussed Ukraine, the Middle East, energy, artificial intelligence, the power of the dollar, and more. They reflected on what he called the great history of our nations, and he says they agreed to work together, which includes visits by both leaders to each other's nations. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
Wall Street, the Dow down 225 points today. The Nasdaq up 6 and the S&P shed 16. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
A new president is sworn in. America's greatness is being restored, and there's breaking news every minute. Now, tens of millions of Americans are turning off Fox and CNN and tuning in to Newsmax for the breaking information they really need to know. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Find it yourself on all major cable systems and on your TV or smartphone store. Just download the Newsmax app for free and start watching. You'll get great shows with Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and Carl Higbie, and more. Find out why millions of Americans have made the switch. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. So make the switch to Newsmax. Check us out on cable and TV or download the Newsmax app today. Watch us anytime, anywhere. Remember, Newsmax is real news for real people.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We'll be back with your phone calls, and if you haven't called up, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Don't forget, you could win a trip for 4 on the Disney Destiny Cruise Line. It is brand new, and winning is easy. You just got to download the Odyssey app and listen to WTIC for at least an hour a day. This show works. I'm just saying, this show is a perfect time. You can listen to an hour a day. And, of course, that will get you your entry into the contest to win a trip for 4 to set sail on the new Disney Destiny. This is a national contest, so if you are watching Reese on the Radio online right now, download the Odyssey app if you haven't already for your chance to win. Also, at the end of our show, we have what's called the last but not least call of the day, where you can receive a dozen bagels for 6 months, courtesy of our friends Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon. So we'll get to that as well. I do want to play this because I'm looking at the history of this song. Which side are you on? This is the one that the really, really horrible people were singing, earlier. Which meds are you on? You are all morons.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Hey, Tim. Which meds are you on? Yeah, so apparently it is by a guy by the name of Pete Seeger, and it's a labor song. But I said earlier that I heard this at the Civil Rights Museum inside the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee, in the Lorraine Motel where Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered. And that song, I think, it's called the Freedom Singers, who actually performed it. I think this is the version I was listening to. No? Yeah, I think this is it. Come on. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, if you ever been to church or like a black church, you'd hear, some of the great songs in there. That was my thing. I was actually in the choir in a lot of my church going back in the day. Anyway, let's get another check of our traffic with Mark. Mark, were you a choir boy by any chance?
I was an altar boy.
You were an altar boy.
Not
You
a
did
choir
say
boy,
that.
but an
You
altar
were an
boy,
altar
yeah.
boy. So you
Yes.
walked with the candle and the incense and all that
Right.
stuff.
Well, the great thing was when I first started being an altar boy, I wasn't very tall.
Oh.
Probably came close to lighting the church on fire, trying to light the candles for mass. But then I was taller. Then I ended up being taller than the priest, so that's when I decided to
Yeah, you couldn't.
step aside.
You can't be anymore. Now, was it? If you don't mind my asking, what denomination was it? Roman Catholic or
Roman
just
Catholic, yeah,
just
Roman
It was Roman Catholic. Okay.
Yep.
Because I was baptized
Forgive
at
me,
Saint.
Father, for I have sinned.
I was baptized in a Roman Catholic church called St. Gabriel in Hollis, Queens. And
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and I got the whole baptismal when I was 13 years old, and I always tell this story. They took the holy
confirmation, right?
Yeah, the confirmation.
Or you got.
They
you
took the-
got baptized at 13?
Yeah, well, that was my official baptismal, and they
okay.
they took the holy water and they put a cross on my forehead, and I got a pimple right where he put the holy
Oh.
water. I'll never forget
no.
it. And my grandmother said to me, she goes, "That's the devil coming out of you."
A little holy water and some benzoyl peroxide, and man, that zit will go right away.
Exactly.
I was actually baptized on Easter Sunday.
Wow,
I don't
yeah.
remember it, but that's what I was.
So you almost feel like that whole event's for you, right? Even though
Yeah,
it's for Jesus
seriously.
Christ, but
Like,
you know.
yeah, right. Exactly. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, you've been saying your prayers because we're in pretty good shape. We just have a little delay, 84 eastbound 46th Avenue to the Bulkley Bridge. Some slow traffic again, East Hartford 58 out to 59. That earlier accident in the right lane by exit 60 in Manchester, that's out of the way now. That's all gone. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Both sides of 91 moving well. Cromwell up into Windsor locks. 291's a little slow from I-91 over to exit 4 in South Windsor. 2 eastbound moving Glastonbury into Marlborough. Quiet Middletown, Waterbury just slightly slow. 84 westbound on the Mixmaster. 91 of the Parkway okay toward New Haven. Suffield Route 168 shut down between Phelps Road and Babbs Road because of an accident there. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, a little snow becoming mixed with, then changing to sleet and freezing rain tonight. So look out for slick conditions overnight. The low down to 30 degrees, but mostly cloudy and milder as we head into Thursday. A steady rain becoming more intermittent with the high up to 46. Breezy in the evening, otherwise partly cloudy. The low dropping down to 25 on Thursday night. So that means that any standing water will freeze in spots. Could be slick on Friday morning's commute. We'll have plenty of sunshine. It remains windy and colder and below freezing throughout the day with the high only 31. Strong west-northwest winds going to make it feel like it's down in the 20s at best. Saturday, we'll get periods of snow in the afternoon, 2 to 4 inches during the day, a coating to an inch during the evening, then periods of sleet and freezing rain on top of that, the low down to 26 and rising into the lower 30s overnight. Then periods of rain on Sunday, a high of 43. So it's going to be a bit messy with the rain on top of all that snow and ice. 32 in Mansfield right now. It's 34 in Bristol and 34 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Does your child need a dentist? Make their first impression a great one at Columbia Dental. In our Manchester and Rocky Hill offices, we specialize in pediatric dentistry, creating a positive and stress-free experience for your little one. Visit columbiadental.com today.
For quality vinyl siding, the Peter L. Brown Company is your best choice. It's winter, and we need to keep our crews busy, so ask us about our winter specials. Please visit peterlbrown.com for roofing, siding, windows, and doors.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
Paid for by government. History of America's Silver Eagle coin series. There's never been a Mint State coin struck with a special Privy Mark until now. That's right. The world's most popular silver bullion coin has just been struck with the special Star Privy Mark. Silver Eagles are the best-selling silver coin since first being introduced by the U.S. Mint in 1986. This is an amazing and historic event, but you must hurry. A strict limited edition mintage has been set, and once they are gone, they are gone. These first ever Silver Eagles are brand new legal tender coins, minted in 99.9% pure silver by the Philadelphia Mint. For a limited time radio offer, save $5 off every coin. Just call 1-800-473-3993 to secure the first ever Star Privy Marked Mint State Silver Eagle coin. Plus receive free shipping, but you must call 1-800-473-3993 now to secure this first ever Silver Eagle. That's 1-800-473-3993.
Reese on the radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. I'll get into a couple of things in the chat room with some commentary that's in here. Thank you, Bet. I appreciate that, sir. And Tim is in the chat room as well. I don't think that there's going to be this Gaza thing. Let me see. Let me do it. Let me just do it and get it out of the way, and I promise I'll get to everybody's phone calls. Let me just do this. So when Tim doesn't get his chance on the phone, he will then go into the chat room and then start spouting off a bunch of nonsense. And the reason why is because I know that Tim does not watch the news religiously, and I do. It's not just my job, it's also my hobby. Right? There are some people who have hobbies like things that they are obsessed about. Some people have cars. Some people have model airplanes. Some people, whatever. Mine is the news. I love it. I really, really do. I would rather do that than anything else. Yes, and that includes going to the farmer's market with my wife, which I detest. I do everything I can to get out of it. But I cover the news. Donald Trump has no intent of putting boots on the ground in the Middle East. And as I said yesterday, if you watch this show religiously, like many people do, you know that King bin Al Hussein was at the White House just yesterday, talking to Donald Trump about helping him and assisting him and getting Egypt on board to take care of the Gaza Strip in this soundbite.
Mr. President, I truly believe that with all the challenges that we have in the Middle East, that I finally see somebody that can take us across the finish line to bring stability, peace, and prosperity to all of us in the region. And it is, I think, our collective responsibility in the Middle East to continue to work with you, to support you, to achieve those lofty goals. So I'm very delighted to be here. And as you said, sir, we've got some very interesting discussions ahead.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So after the king said that, it gets worse, because then I went on Google and I saw this. Jordan is home to more than 2 million Palestinians and has rejected the U.S. President Donald Trump's plan to relocate civilians from Gaza. Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates and Qatar have also opposed the plan. That's what they put on Bing. They put it on Google. They put it on every search engine when you asked about it. And then out of nowhere, the King of Jordan, ladies and gentlemen, the person who speaks for the region, said this to Donald Trump during that press conference.
We have to look at the best interests of the United States, of the people in the region, especially to my people of Jordan. And we're going to have some interesting discussions today. I think one of the things that we can do right away is take 2,000 children that are either cancer children or in very ill state to Jordan as quickly as possible, and then wait for, I think, the Egyptians to present their plan on how we can work with the president to work on Gaza challenges.
So you
I want to tell you, excuse me, wait, just please.
He surprised the president with that invitation to 2,000 sick Palestinians. That wasn't prompted by the president of the United States. And they're talking about, like, oh, no, Jordan's not taking any Gazans. And here's the king of Jordan telling everybody, yeah, we're going to take the sickest of the sick. And we're going to come. Do you think they're just going to take the children and not take their parents with them? Do you think that's what they're going to do? You can think they're going to separate families like people are so concerned about the southern border? Huh? I thought everybody was rejecting the president on this there, Tim. I thought everybody on the left knew exactly what they were talking about, Tim. I thought every single one of you knew exactly what you were talking about.
I didn't know that, what you just said, 2,000 children with cancer or other problems. And that's really a beautiful gesture. That's really good, and we appreciate it. And we'll be working on the rest with Egypt. I think you're going to see some great progress. I think with Jordan, you're going to see some great progress. 3 of us, and we'll have some others helping, and we're going to have some others at a very high level helping, and the whole thing will come. It's not a complex thing to do. And with the United States being in control of that piece of land,
Please stop letting MSNBC embarrass you. Please. I beg of you. Please stop letting the mainstream media embarrass you. Okay? With all due respect, do not call this show after you've watched one of these stupid, ridiculous programs and then get in here and try to argue with me about this stuff. I had the video sitting here for more than 24 hours waiting for an idiot to actually say something stupid about this. What do you think I am, unprepared? Do you really think that I'm unprepared? I bust my hump every day, doing this every day to do this show. I am not some layabout. I am not shiftless. I am not lazy. I do my job. I do my homework. Please stop coming in here with this lackluster argument about things you know nothing about. I come prepared, and I come guns a-blazing. I'm always strapped with the info, always. Please, sit down. And in the words of Kendrick Lamar, be humble. Okay? Thank you. It's nice. White Mike is in Florida. How you doing, boss?
Oh, man. So you have to understand that when you're dealing with liberals, especially the modern leftists, you're dealing with someone who has replaced religious zealotry with political virtue signaling.
Yes.
And they're going to twist and bend anything they can to make themselves feel like they're on the right team. That's it. This is their religion. Unfortunately, a lot of them are stupid.
Yes, but this makes them dangerous, as we know.
And the worst, they're stupid, but they don't think they're stupid because they have education in useless subjects. And their idea of being informed on the issue is, like you said, watching MSNBC.
Yes.
And having Rachel Madcow spew BS in their ears, or Joyless Reed, or whatever. What's the one who looks like a lesbian? Chris Hayes?
Yes, that's Rachel Maddow's little sister.
Yeah, people are just idiots. And I had a lady come into my office the other day, and I have to be nice because I work in a dental office. And this old broad is wearing a big pin on her tank top with a donkey on it. And she starts immediately, like, I have to get these crowns done because I'm leaving the country on April 1st. I'm like, oh, really? She goes, yeah, unless somebody offs Trump.
Wow.
And then she starts talking about fascism. He's a fascist. And I'm thinking, ma'am, I'm a literal fascist. You have no idea who you're talking to. I'm informed on the issues, and my biggest selling point for fascism, and when people say fascism, people knee-jerk react like, oh, murderers. No, dude, all fascism does is give inordinate power to a strong leader whose primary concern is the well-being of the nation. All business that is happening is done with the well-being of the nation first. What's wrong with that? Nothing. corporations should have.
It's
every
the other
business-
it's the other stuff that they associate with fascism, like the Reich, rounding people
Well,
up.
who are the anti-fascists?
What's that?
Because the opposite of fascism is anti-fascism.
Correct. And those were Antifa.
Who are the anti-fascists? They're communists.
Yes.
Let's not mince words here.
And
These are
you're right.
communists. And if you have to choose between communism and fascism, your ass should choose fascism every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Because under fascism, you can still have capitalism and you can have a life. Under communism, you become worker number 36 at lithium concern number 42. And they work you till you die.
Yeah, that's the drill. That is the drill.
So done with these people. When somebody calls you a fascist, accept it. Say, yes, absolutely. I'd rather be a fascist than a communist.
I like that. Hey, you know what?
And-
It's like the ones who called me a sellout and Uncle Tom. I was just like, I'd rather be a sellout and Uncle Tom than an Al Sharpton any day.
I always ask them who won World War II. And people always say, well, the good guys. And I'm so like Stalin, that good guy.
Wow.
And people have no idea who the actual bad guy was in World War II. I think 100 million dead is worse than 6 million dead. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think a lot of people. Yeah, even Bill Burr made that argument. That's a good point. Thank you, sir. As always. I don't think that. Anyway, I'm not even going to read those anymore. Let's go to Fred. Fred's in Middletown. How we doing, boss man? I haven't talked to you in a bit.
Hey, good. So I want to follow up, real quick, just to segue. Fascist v. communist is not a binary in either or you want to do.
No, if there is a binary choice, I think that's what White Mike is saying.
Yeah, and also I don't think capitalism is possible under fascism. I think, and pardon me, I'm in over my head at the shallow end of this political jargon pool.
Gotcha.
But if I'm not mistaken, the nut of fascism is where the government and the corporations have kind of, grown together like two vines turning into this tree, and there's no competition. We have a lot of fascism now. I think they call it public-private partnership, but where you have like the government and this CDC, and the media pushing the vaccine, and you're not allowed to do ivermectin, and everyone works together. I think this is like pretty fascist. I don't think we have a shard of capitalism going on here, if I'm not mistaken.
I agree with you in some of that regard, and especially with the whole vaccines and that whole bit. You're 100% right on that. And I think I think the fluidity of said fascism, and I think that's the reason why White Mike's making the distinction. If I'm going communist versus fascist, I'm screaming fascism every time.
Communist is left. Stop. That's just death. Death wears thy sting under communism.
Right.
But if I might harken back to the Rob Simpson call yesterday.
Yes.
A little thing telling the big story. Where's Waldo? Where's Rob? So he wasn't there. So he said, well, I only found out Friday on the Shattuck show. So in other words, he didn't have sufficiently advanced notice to show up. Now, and what's he supposed to do? Show up and heckle? Well, no. I was thinking he could have drove his car into a crowd of Democrats, maybe.
No! Why would you even say that?
Well, he wouldn't do that, and he wouldn't show up to heckle.
I don't know. Listen, here's what I believe. And I think there's a fair argument made that, and I think this was something that Republicans couldn't avoid anyway. I think, and according to Mark, and Mark will text me and let me know whether or not this is true, because I think I saw it on X. Mark believes that not only was this taxpayer funded at the Derry School, but there was an advance sort of RSVP to certain people, and then it was released to the public after the RSVP had been filled up.
Irrespective of that, so here would be the third thing he might show up to do. No to driving his car through a crowd of Democrats. No to heckling Democrats, which, as I understand, no one was doing.
Right.
It would be a third option. Show up, get out of his car for 5 minutes, and cop like $5,000 worth of free FaceTime. Stand with the protesters, have his picture taken by everyone there, maybe have the news take his picture, say something pithy. He's got a way with words,
Yeah.
Show up, cop some free FaceTime, shake a few hands. have it to talk about later and split. I mean, he didn't not to tell him how to do business.
Again, you were 100% right. I do believe that there should have been more noses to the ground to know events like this were going on. And according to, and I found out on Monday, I found out on Tuesday, in fact, Fred, you may have caught it when I mentioned it yesterday, that there was another Senator, Kim, who talked about a town hall meeting he had over the weekend in his state, where there were 1,000 people there. I think Murphy and Blumenthal had about 700 at the West Hartford event. So this was something that many senators were doing across the country, which is, again, leading with your head, so to speak. Republicans should have known that this was going on and had local leaders there and evident. You're right, and making themselves be known.
That's something you need an hour notice. Jump in the car, show up, pop. I mean, that's crazy. Oh, I didn't know about it in Christmas time. And then Proto too. No, clear, dude. I'm 99.5% certain. Let me prejudice myself and go on record as saying, I mean, et tu Rob Simpson, but yeah, he's a fraud. And
I know a lot of people didn't like him saying that. I know, Fred. Let me get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. How we doing, buddy?
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into downtown Hartford, westbound side of 84, delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound tight, 46 into the tunnel. Slowing again, 58 out to 59 in the 384 interchange from an earlier accident. If you are traveling on the southbound side of I-91, some slow traffic in Windsor, 36 down to 35. A and B, 291 eastbound tight from I-91 over just prior to the Bissell Bridge. We have an accident on 291 eastbound. Looks like it's on the right shoulder or maybe a little bit of the right lane out there. Now, if you're traveling 2 eastbound, that looks good. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Westbound 84, Waterbury is slowing as you approach the Mixmaster. If you are heading southbound 95, New Haven, a little tight, 46 down to exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, the clouds will yield to some sun, the high of 36. A little snow becoming mixed with and changing to sleet and freezing rain tonight with the low down to 30 degrees. Then on Thursday, mostly cloudy, milder, a steady rain becoming intermittent with the high of 46, so it'll feel damp, raw, and chilly. Then on Friday, plenty of sunshine, windy and colder, the high 31. Going to feel like it's well down in the 20s with those strong west-northwest winds. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Pope Francis has appointed Richard Reedy to lead the Diocese of Norwich. The bishop-elect comes by way of Worcester, Massachusetts. He succeeds Bishop Emeritus Michael Cody, who reached the mandatory retirement age of 75 last year. Been an arrest in a shooting last month in Waterbury that left a teenager injured. Police are charging 18-year-old Zakaya Kalamar in the shooting of another teen January 31st. The 17-year-old victim was suffering from a gunshot wound to the arm when located at Congress and Washington Avenues. Kalamar faces assault, reckless endangerment, and other charges. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says NATO membership for Ukraine is unrealistic, and in remarks suggested Kyiv should abandon hopes of winning all its territory back from Russia. Senate has confirmed Tulsi Gabbard as President Trump's Director of National Intelligence. The vote coming after Republicans who'd initially questioned her experience and judgment fell in line behind her nomination. Consumer Price Index showing inflation accelerated 3% over the previous year. Cost of groceries, gas, and used cars among the items ticking up. And a leading fabrics retailer is closing hundreds of stores nationwide. The word is that Joann Fabrics is shuttering 10 stores here in Connecticut. The company filed for bankruptcy last month, the second filing in a year. On Wall Street, the Dow finished down 225 points today. The NASDAQ was up 6, S&P down 16. Women's college basketball tonight. Number 7 UConn hosts St. John's, 7:30 tip here. NBA getting ready for the All-Star break. Celtics host San Antonio. Atlanta visits the Knicks, and the Nets host Philly. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck here with Paul, who dropped 45 pounds thanks to Awaken 180. Was losing weight hard with Awaken 180?
Program at the beginning, like anything else, is tricky because you live a certain way and then you change it. But again, the support they gave me, the way it was explained to me, it was doable. It was amazing. Anybody can do this if you set your mind to it. But with the help you receive from the folks at Awaken 180, you can do this. My mental health is better. My energy is better. My relationship with my coworkers is better. My relationship with my wife and my family, my driving. There's not anything in my life that isn't better. Everything was affected by what I was eating. Awaken 180 gave me the ability to see life through a whole different lens.
Thanks, Paul. Awaken 180 isn't hard. It's an adjustment with how you approach food. It sounds simple because it is with the solution for weight loss. See for yourself online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Much with NordVPN's birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. Visit NordVPN and discover the benefits. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Encrypt your online traffic. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro. Get the special birthday deal at nordvpn.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 10% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
Hey, I'm not one to brag, but it's our birthday, 100 years. I'm sure you've heard, and I'm sure the present that you have for us is incredible, right?
That's right, 100 years, keeping it 100. News Talk 1080 WTIC. Congratulations to this great foundation in the Nutmeg State, and we are proud to be a part of it, all of us, and I think I speak for all of us when I say that. Let me get into some of the chat room stuff here, and then we'll get to the phone calls. Don't forget your chance coming up to be the last but not least caller of the day to win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon. Let's read some of the chat room stuff here. Someone actually had written this. Let me see if I can find it. Someone said that Which Side Are You On sounds like more of a divisive song than a unity song. I tend to agree, but when the labor was, the labor unions, when they used it, it was like, are you for the workers, and these civil rights? It was like, are you for civil rights? Are you on their side or our side? I don't know if the word division actually works well in that sense. I think it's sort of like asking people a moral question. With labor and, of course, with civil rights. But, I get your point. Don't get me wrong. Lori says, back in my time as an RC, you're supposed to be baptized before you ventured out for anything else in order to remove the original sin, Adam and Eve. Okay, I did not know that. Somebody's asking if I ran off Tim. Oh, no, Tim said something about being a homophobe. I don't think you're using that term right, Tim. Phobia or homophobic implies that someone is afraid, has an irrational fear of something. I have no irrational fear of homosexuals. There's no phobia. I'm not fearful of them. I think they're great people. They're fine. My sister is a lesbian. It's like saying some of my best friends are black. No, sorry. But yeah, I have no fear. So please stop using that term. It doesn't work. There's no such thing as a homophobe. People do not have an irrational fear of them. We don't think that if they touch us, we become gay. We're like, people don't believe that you really have to stop using it. It looks silly. I wish people would stop. I just wish they would. I don't know why. I think it's like they have nothing else. I think it has everything to do with the American school system, that they really don't know how to speak. So they use that ridiculous old trope. So no, I don't fall for that. Let me see. Also, who's this? Gary. Gary says that people believe that Trump lies because CNN told them that he lied. Exactly. People do believe that. Zach says, I'm not, it's not public airwaves, Tim. It's private radio station, and your demanded airtime by an ad slot if you want. Okay. I know. This demand of wanting to be on the air, I don't know what the hell that's about. Oh, White Mike says that guy is wrong, talking about Fred, is that there were thousands of private businesses under fascism, and people owned private property and made money. Yeah, Mike, that's okay. I agree with you. Yes, they did, but under certain regimes, there were some added parts of that in order for those, private businesses to flourish. I mean, I know you know that. So yeah, but I'm not making it a debate about the fascism thing. I think it's almost a silly argument to some degree. Yeah, it's all that stuff. So anyway, your chance is coming up to be the last but not least caller of the day. So get on the phones, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. And we'll get to your phone calls if you want to opine before we wrap things up here. Now, let's get another check of those roads with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're 84 eastbound, just a slight slowdown as you move between 48 Capitol Avenue and the downtown tunnel down to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 slowing, Bulkley Bridge out to exit 47 Sigourney Street. Southbound 91 is running a little slow between exit 36 and 35 in Windsor because of an accident. 291 eastbound right prior to the Bissell Bridge. Looks like it's right shoulder, maybe a little bit of the right lane, so look out for that. If you're heading to eastbound, that looks good. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown 9 in the Aragodi Bridge. Slightly slow 84 westbound. Waterbury as you approach the Mixmaster. And 91 in the Parkway moving well heading down in toward New Haven. In Suffield, Route 168 shut down between Phelps Road and Babbs Road because of an accident there. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Like a little bit of snow becoming mixed with, then changing over to sleet and freezing rain tonight with the low down to 30 degrees. Then rising temperatures with mostly cloudy skies for our Thursday. Milder or steady rain becoming intermittent with the high of 46. Thursday night, breezy, otherwise partly cloudy. The low down to 25. Any standing water will freeze, so watch out for slick spots on Friday morning's commute and throughout the day, for that fact. With plenty of sunshine, it'll still be windy and colder. The high remaining below freezing at 31. Saturday, periods of snow in the afternoon, 2 to 4 inches during the day, high of 29. Saturday night, some snow early with another coating to an inch, then some periods of sleet and freezing rain on top of that. The low down to 26, then rising into the lower 30s. Not as cold Sunday with periods of rain. It's going to be sloppy with all that snow first and that rain around the high of 43 on Sunday. Right now, it's 32 in Waterbury. 36 in Danbury, it's 34 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Choose from select Superstart Premium, Extreme, or Platinum batteries at O'Reilly Auto Parts and get up to a $15 gift card after rebate. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts about the latest medical news and call in with your questions. Healthy Rounds, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where TurboTax Expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Men, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. The one you love is the light of your life. And if you're like most of us, you want to do whatever you can to nurture your relationship. But if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction, you know the impacts the condition is likely having on you and on your partner. ED is a relationship destroyer. It can contribute to depression, distancing, conflicts, even breakups and divorce. And what's so disturbing about this is that most men who suffer with ED can be successfully treated, but a lot of guys don't seek treatment when they should. At Northeast Men's Health, we have protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases. In fact, if you're like most guys, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and maybe find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. So call Northeast Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
Seems. Wait a minute.
these days? Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use radio now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com. Offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, before we get into it, I want to play this because, Tim's in the chat room. He is upset. He says that it's homophobic to suggest that Chris Hayes of MSNBC is a lesbian. So calling Chris Hayes a lesbian is homophobic. Good. Send your complaints to Saturday Night Live. This is 2 weeks ago.
Tell if you're doing the news or trying to hook up. What do you think, Rachel?
Oh, I'm not Rachel. I'm Chris Hayes.
Even on Saturday Night Live, they jokingly referred to Chris Hayes as Rachel Maddow, a known lesbian. Okay? I started the joke 20 years ago, calling Chris Hayes Rachel Maddow's little sister. Joke's been around forever. Saturday Night Live just caught up with it 2 weeks ago. Okay? That shows exactly how late to this game you are. Okay? We've been way ahead of the curve for a long time. All right, back to the phones we go. Let's go to Mike's in Plainville. How we doing, Mike?
We got a lot of dysfunction down here on the plantation, man. You know what I'm talking about?
Of course, man.
The latest is Mr. Chang, our exalted chancellor of state universities, abusing his privileges. He makes well in excess of $400,000 a year. And according to the governor, he's made some misjudgments as far as restaurants, hotels, tips, $200 tips, 200% tips.
Ooh.
Chang. Mr. Chang goes to Chang.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
every time he goes out,
Goes
he sings
cha-ching.
it. Cha-ching.
That's where he's going. Cha-ching is what he's doing. It's pretty bad. Yeah, I know. I saw that. I saw that article today.
Hartford Current is just, they're in bed with the state capitol. I'm just getting so fed up. And they put it right out there for everybody to see. And it's like, you can't touch me or touch us. Nothing's going to happen to you. Meanwhile, the people down there on the plantation that work 40, 50 hours a week, and they're never late, and they show up and do their jobs, we don't care about them. We just want their tax dollars.
Yeah, that's...
And we'll use their tax dollars any way we damn please.
It's you know what? It's stenography 101 going on in the news media in Connecticut, man. I know the drill, buddy. I know the drill. Thank you, Mike. Let's go to John in Meriden. How we doing, John?
Hello, Reese. What a wonderful show.
Thank you,
I have
sir.
a question.
Yes, sir.
How do the listeners call Odyssey or TIC to make you permanent, or are you already permanent?
Let's just say yes and no, or no and yes. One of those other. But that's just something that's in the works. But I will tell you this. You saying it on the air right now is enough. It's just as good as a phone call because, yes, the people who hear or work in the front office, they listen to the show. In fact, I hear they like it. So they are listening, and they say to me often that they hear from people and they love listening to people who say that they love the show. So I'm doing my darndest to make sure that I'm a part of the WTIC family so that we can we can make sure that happens for you, John. I promise.
Oh, thank you, sir. God bless you, and it's a wonderful show, TIC and Odyssey.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think he's a plant. I really do. If we ever had a ringer, John and Meredith is our ringer. He says such nice things. I totally love it. James is in Newington. How we doing, James?
Hey, good to hear from you, Reese.
What's up,
Look,
buddy?
one of the things I wanted to bring up about is with the blocking of getting access to the Treasury and the Treasury reports.
Right.
Remember, the keys there, it mixes with the USAID because the Treasury reports gives them the wired transfers and what accounts things went into.
Right. You know what's interesting about this, John, as you brought, I'm sorry, it's James. I'm sorry, James. You know what's interesting about this is that the media is doing sort of a sleight of hand with the wording of what's going on at the treasuries, right? So the conversation is Elon Musk is going to have access to your Social Security information, right? Your Social Security number, information about you. But what they fail to recognize, there's the news media, and they think that people are too stupid to see this, is that the Treasury has all of that. Only reason why Elon has access to that is because the Treasury already has that info. You know what I mean? It's like
exactly.
It's like
somehow they're exposing something that wasn't
already there. Exactly the point, right? And so it's sort of like creating an issue that it's used. I'll put it this way: it is using the naivete of the viewer against them, so to speak.
One of the things I want to bring up is, for instance, to go back to a little bit about the Joe Biden corruption of his whole crime family.
Yeah.
Hunter had the majority of all of his LLCs that he set up. We know about 22 of them.
Yeah.
In Delaware, because Delaware has very strong protections against court or people from the outside asking who are the legal officers on those corporations.
Right. So they protect the person with the LLC.
Yes, but when you get the wire transfer information and you get it going into an account, basically then you start to get a much bigger picture of the spider web of where the money's going. And remember, the only reason they were interested for the Biden family for corruption purposes is the Treasury had in that law, you have to report any 10,000 or more transfer because that was designed to stop drug traffickers from moving money around the United States and around the world.
Exactly. It's a laundering operation. That's all it is.
Absolutely. So I think if we were to have that, we would be able to answer a lot of our questions about laundering in terms of Ukraine and where the money has gone. Has it gone in and then flowed back out? We know that there, and I'm not even getting into the Ukrainians too much. I'm just trying to say that that's really what no one really wants to know in terms of the powerful people. They don't want you to know who actually received the money. And the other thing about the USAID that I'm going to say is when they have found all of these organizations we know nothing about getting the money, we do know the Clinton Foundation. The big question is always this: who's on the board of directors of these organizations?
Yeah.
Because my brother used to work on Wall Street with do you remember Ron Brown, the African-American Secretary of Commerce who went down in the plane crash?
That's correct. Who apparently was going to turn state's evidence on Clinton, and many people believe that plane was crashed on purpose.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to say this. His son worked with my brother.
I know his son.
Okay, first year out. You know his son.
Yes, I do.
So my point was, my brother was talking about a lot of times what happens is family members of powerful people like Hillary Clinton's daughter, Chelsea, get put on the boards of directors of corporations that they really don't have any experience doing. Hunter's our biggest example.
Exactly. No-show jobs.
Right. But what I'm trying to say to you is all around, this is the friends, buddy network. I help you. Wink, wink, wink. Your daughter gets on the board of this. A lot of these boards, the Clinton Foundation, we need to know if they really got, let's say it was 84 million, or let's say it was 8 million. I don't know. If it was for Haiti, how much of that money made it to the Haitians?
Exactly. And many people say that they were $1 billion was missing.
That's my point, is that it's reasonable for a good organization, maybe with organizational infrastructure and administration, to maybe even use 30% to 40% of the money to get the actual services to the people. I could even understand that in a place like Haiti that doesn't have a lot of infrastructure.
Right.
If 60 cents on the dollar finally got to the people, I wouldn't scream or yell. But we do need to know as taxpayers for all of these organizations that claim to have been charities,
Yep.
who was on the board, how much money were they taking in administration. I suspect many of them will have taken $100, and we'd be lucky if $2 made it to the actual people they were claiming to help.
So true, James. Thank you. And he's so right about that because, again, what we're learning, in fact, that press conference yesterday with Elon Musk was that not only were blank checks going out, but again, there was no accounting because the countries that you would send this money to, they're not beholden to any IRS and any sort of like accounting to the U.S. They would just get the money. So if you, in essence, it's sort of like giving $100 to a DEI program, and probably $20 would go to that program, and the other 80 would go to whoever it was who lobbied that program for them to get the money. That's the whole laundering. And there's no checks and balances, and that's why Donald Trump believes that there's a kickback in all of this. Let's go to Bill in Southington. How are we going, Bill?
Good, Reese. How are you?
I'm all right, sir. What do you got?
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Sal Haney. You got to keep this guy. This guy is for real. I hope he's listening. Doesn't he run the station?
Yes, he does, and I love Sal Haney. Sal Haney speaks very highly of me, and I love him. And every time I see him, he's very, very complimentary, and I love Sal Haney.
Smart man. Now, you referenced the jerk earlier on the movie.
Oh, the movie, The Jerk. Yes, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about someone else.
Yeah, that line when the movie opens where he says, I was born
a poor black child.
They're after the cans.
Absolutely.
Classic. I was driving down the road, dying laughing.
Thank you, sir.
I want to thank you for bringing me through my afternoons. I look forward to your monologues. Thank you very much, sir. You're doing an awesome job.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Roland, make sure that this tape gets to the brass. Thank you, Bill. Much appreciated, sir.
All right, my man.
All right, buddy. All right, let's go to Aaron's in Goshen. Hey, what's up, Aaron? Welcome back.
Hey, Reese, can I borrow $3.50?
Can you borrow $3.50? Maybe $2.50.
$2.50.
$2.50, yes.
I will say this. I hope that you become a permanent fixture here. We really need you. I'd love you to be on from 2 o'clock to 6 to fill that time slot. That would be amazing. You're the only talk radio show that I know that I laugh along with. We actually talk about serious subject matter, but we can actually joke around and have fun with each other.
I love that about this show, and I think that's I promised myself that when I did radio this time around that I was going to have a little bit of that levity, to be serious where it was necessary, but never ever keep the crowd angry. Always keep throw a little jab in there to sort of makes them go, ha, at the end of it. You know what I mean?
You're doing a fantastic job at it, and I really hope that they sign you up. Going forward, I think that this USAID is the missing piece to the puzzle as to how all these politicians get rich. And let's not forget that who was over in Ukraine? Oh, that's right. Both of our Connecticut senators were over in Ukraine. I wonder where all that money went. What's his name is, I can't remember the president's name.
Oh, Zelensky.
Zelensky's saying he's missing $100 billion.
You know what? You remind me, because even Simsbury Joe brought up that breaking news that Tucker Carlson had, that he knows for a fact that Ukrainians are selling weapons or selling the weaponry that we're going to Mexico to the cartels. And if he's got that evidence, I need to see it, because that, again, someone is that kickback, if you will, that's got to be going somewhere. Zelensky's sitting up there saying, I don't have $100 million of the $177 billion that they've given. So it's like, well, where the hell is that money, and who's making all of that money from the selling of weaponry? So
exactly. And I said, this is a huge piece of the puzzle. I can't wait till Doge gets into the coffers of our military industrial complex, via the Pentagon, and find out what we've been misappropriating funds on there and what wars we've been financing both sides. They fight against them. They fight against them. We give them the weapons. We come in. We keep making money because war has made this country very, very wealthy.
Exactly, but only for individuals. It has not helped us. Clearly, we are not profiting off of that.
The people are always last. We're the bottom. We're the peasants.
Right, exactly. Bunch of bottom feeders. Bunch of bottom feeders we are.
Yeah, we're the amoebas of the society.
You got it.
Put it that way.
Let me see if I can get one more in here. Thanks, Aaron. And let's go with Kim, who is our last but not least caller of the day. Let me let her get in because I've only got a minute. How you doing, Kim?
I'm doing great. Listen, I'm going to make this super fast.
Yes, ma'am.
The state assembly is trying to push through a bill to limit parents' rights to object to sexually explicit materials in their school libraries. The bill is Senate Bill 1271. The hearing is tomorrow at the 13th at 3 o'clock. You can submit testimony if you think this bill is bad. And let me give you 2 reasons why this bill is bad. Number one, if a parent objects to sexually explicit materials in their school library, say it's got to do with anal sex or gay sex, they can label you homophobic and immediately deny your challenge. The worst part about it is that any school personnel can sue a parent for quote unquote emotional distress.
Wow.
So
Kim,
you challenge a book.
Kim, make sure you call.
You've got to spread the word.
You got it, Kim. Make sure you call first thing on the show tomorrow. We'll get into that because that's when we start our show tomorrow. So stick around for that. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. He is Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, Mark.
Great night. If you are heading into downtown Hartford right now, you'll see a little slow traffic on the westbound side of I-80.
I guess she hung
And
up.
Kim just wanted to say that and get off.
Yeah, I guess she did.
Out
Whoever
to
that is,
46th
just I don't
Avenue,
know.
84
Give
eastbound.
it to them, I
Losing a little
guess.
speed moving by 40
All right,
on
I will see you
Capitol
tomorrow.
Avenue.
Hey, we
That's
got
about it.
Angelo
Really no
Ellerby
big
on
deal there.
Friday,
31,
so I will give you all that
slowing by 32
information
A and B,
in a bit.
Northbound south.
All right, cool.
All right, thanks, boss.
Enjoy your night, man.
You got it, man, too.
291, 384 moving well. 2 eastbound's okay. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury.
All right, definitely, guys. Have a good night. I appreciate all of you. Is that Steve World? If I didn't get that old time on it, and it's an old tune out of my headset, I'm going to get into trouble. It's a great song. It's a great song. You should look it up. You guys be good. I will see you tomorrow. Stay out of trouble.